म्यानेज गर्न एकदमै गाह्रो हुन्छ। अब कसैले इन्टर्नसिप जोइन गर्नु भएको छ, पहिला गरेर छोड्नु भएको छ भने उहाँलाई थाहा पनि होला एकदमै पढाइ म्यानेज गर्न एकदमै गाह्रो भइरहेको फिल हुन्छ धेरै मान्छेहरूलाई। सो त्यो कुराहरू पनि सरले आफूले गर्दा कसरी म्यानेज गर्नुहुन्थ्यो, आफू एज अ स्टुडेन्ट पढ्दा र साइडमा इन्टर्नसिप गर्दा कसरी म्यानेज गर्नुहुन्थ्यो, कसरी म्यानेज गर्न सकिन्छ भन्ने जस्ता टेक्निकहरू, टिप्सहरू पनि सरले सेयर गर्नुहुनेछ भन्दै अबको सेसन चाहिँ म सरले ह्यान्डओभर गर्न चाहन्छु र अन्तिममा म तपाईँहरूसँग फेरि भेट्नेछु। ह्यान्डिङ ओभर टु मिस्टर सुलभ श्रेष्ठ सर।
Okay, thank you, Rajiv ji. Thank you so much for having me. Though अलिकति short notice भए पनि हामीले यो सेसन गर्नुभएको छ. It's very good to see like almost अहिले I can see there is almost 190 participants over here in this session. So that's very good number in terms of ACCA as a whole. So त्यो सेसन प्रति जुन हाम्रो expectation requirement, I can see that that's up to there. So short notice मा I've tried to prepare as much as I could. त्यो टाइम लिमिटले गर्दा आई थिङ्क हामी अस्ति फ्राइडे बेलुका मात्र वी डिस्कस्ड रिगार्डिङ दिस सेसन. सो नेभरदलेस आई थिङ्क आई हेभ ट्राई टु कभर एभ्रिथिङ द्याट्स रिक्वायर्ड फ्रम आवर एन्ड. र अलिकति डिफ्रेन्ट चाहिँ वाट आल एड इज लाइक आल ट्राई टु टेक दि क्युएनए सेसन अलिकति लङ्गर बिकज आई थिङ्क द्याट वुड बी मोर हेल्पफुल बिकज अरू अब यो सिबी मेकिङ एन्ड अल दोज थिङ्स क्यान बी थियोरिटिकल्ली कभर्ड र धेरै तपाईँहरूले इजिली गुगलमा पनि त्यसको सबै रिसोर्सेसहरू त भेट्नुहुन्छ अहिले. लाइफ मच इजियर अहिले होइन, बट स्टिल आई हेभ ट्राई टु summarize all those points through a presentation slides which I'm sharing अहिले shortly. र त्यो बाहेक आई थिङ्क अलिकति एटलिस्ट 15 to 20 minutes or even more than that क्युएनए सेसन मैले लिन पाएँ भने चाहिँ आई थिङ्क तपाईँहरू एज एन जो पार्टिसिपेन्ट्स हुनुहुन्छ उहाँहरू सबैको रिक्वायरमेन्ट चाहिँ आई विल बी एबल टु आन्सर. र इन्डिभिजुअली तपाईँहरूको क्वेसन्स क्वेरिजहरू केही छ भने त्यो पनि मैले त्यसमा एड्रेस गर्न चाहिँ ट्राई गर्नेछु. So just a brief introduction Rajiv ji le disaknu bhako cha. Just adding to that, yes, I'm a fellow member of ACCA. So I completed my ACCA in 2012. So back then I got my membership as well. So मैले चाहिँ आई थिङ्क अघि एउटा कुरा आइसकेको थियो, पढाइ र प्र्याक्टिकल एक्सपिरियन्स रिक्वायरमेन्ट जुन एसिसीको 36 मन्थको छ त्यो चाहिँ मैले अलमोस्ट साइड बाई साइड लाइक वन्स आई स्टार्टेड माई त्यतिखेर सिएटी गर्नु पर्थ्यो हामीले, अहिले जस्तो तपाईँहरूको डाइरेक्ट नलेज लेभलमा इन्ट्री थिएन. सो हामीले चाहिँ छुट्टै एउटा सिएटी चार्टर्ड सर्टिफाइड अकाउन्टेन्ट टेक्निसियन कोर्स गर्नु पर्थ्यो बिकज हाम्रो टाइममा रिजल्ट आउँथेन +2 को. सो त्यो हुनाले चाहिँ वी ह्याड टु गो थ्रु सिएटी रुट. सो त्यसमा चाहिँ 9वटा पेपर दिनु पर्थ्यो र त्यो दिइसकेपछि चाहिँ हामी डाइरेक्ट स्किल्स लेभलमा इनरोल हुनु पर्थ्यो. सो त्यो गर्दा लगभग 3 इयर्समा चाहिँ मेम्बर्स 3 इयर्स 3 मन्थ जस्तोमा मेम्बरसिप प्लस एक्जामिनेसन सबै नै कम्प्लिट गरेको चाहिँ थिएँ मैले. सो 12 को मेम्बर हो र इट्स बिन लाइक अलमोस्ट कति 14-15 इयर्स यही नेपाली मार्केटमा चाहिँ काम गरिरहेको, फ्रम अडिट फर्म टु अकाउन्टिङ इन कर्पोरेट हाउसेस होइन टु इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ गर्दै चाहिँ अहिलेसम्मको जर्नी चाहिँ यहाँ आएको छ. सो बिसाइड द्याट अहिले चाहिँ प्रोफेसनली आम इङ्गेज एट एनआइएमबिएस क्यापिटल एज हेड अफ इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ. सो इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ डिभिजनको बारेमा हामी लास्टमा क्विकली आल अपडेट बिकज आई थिङ्क यो पनि एकदमै ग्रोइङ इन्ट्रेस्ट एरिया छ एसिसिए स्टुडेन्ट्सहरूमा. I get lots of messages that I want to work in investment banking के हुन्छ कसो हुन्छ र इन्टरनेसनली पनि इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ इज अ बिग मार्केट एज वेल एज एकदमै रेप्युटेड मार्केट. सो I'll ब्रिफली डिस्कस द रिक्वायरमेन्ट अफ इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङमा के हुन्छ वाट वी डु भन्ने कुराहरू चाहिँ म लास्टमा ब्रिफली इफ टाइम पर्मिट्स आइल ट्राई टु कभर द्याट एज वेल. त्यो बाहेक आम अल्सो लुकिङ आफ्टर द ब्रोकरेज फ्रम एनआइएमबी स्टक मार्केट्स लिमिटेड. सो नेपाल इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्कको 100% सब्सिडारी ब्रोकर 75 को चाहिँ करेन्टली आम वर्किङ एज एक्टिङ सिइओ ओभर देयर. त्यो बाहेक आम अ भिजिटिङ फ्याकल्टी फर इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ पेपर एट काठमाडौँ युनिभर्सिटी कुसुम भन्छ हामीले. सो त्यहाँ चाहिँ एमबिएहरूको लागि चाहिँ आम टेकिङ द पेपर अफ इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ प्लस मैले एसिसीको पनि फाइनेन्सियल म्यानेजमेन्ट प्लस एडभान्स फाइनेन्सियल म्यानेजमेन्ट यो दुईवटा कोर्स चाहिँ आई टिच एट नेसनल कलेज अफ अकाउन्टेन्सी. So that's what I do professionally. So let's quickly go through the slides. So what the points that I've covered, and then we can discuss on this further as well. So yeah, so I'll just quickly talk about resume making guides. I think with time I feel that students have evolved a lot. So initial days when I used to go through a ACCA trainee CV, as a date when I have to go through ACCA trainee CV, I think there's much of difference. People have been much aware, much knowledge of what resume is, how it has to be included, what are to be included, how it has to be formatted. So good quality resumes are definitely भेटिरहेको हुन्छ. र what I see is that initial days one of the biggest dilemma for us as a employer के हुन्छ त भन्दाखेरि it's very difficult to distinguish between CVs because all CVs would look similar. Everyone has completed the skills level. Everyone has done their papers. You know? There's not much of differentiation on CVs. So it's quite difficult to choose which CV to select, which not to select, because every CV would look like the same, just names, few contact details, and here and there would be few differences. Beside that, it's the same. So I think it's very important that you stand out on your CV making journey. So I think that's what I would try to cover. So Jessica, basically when you talk about CV, the major part, resume, more of a part that I'll try to cover here. So making a resume, I think it's first and foremost, it's important to highlight your career goal or summary of what you are or what are you trying to achieve. And this is one of the most important part of CV, because this is what shapes the understanding of the CV for us. So when we go through a CV, we first and foremost look after the career goal. So what is the goal? What is the expectation of the person, or what is the plans of the person? So that's something that's set up by the career goal. Then we'll look into the education briefly. Uh, so basically, there are certain requirement on the education, like you must have completed this paper or that paper. There might be certain education requirement that the employer would be setting. So they will be basically causing if you meet that education requirement or not. Then we'll talk about this experience and skills. Yes, as a fresher, as a initial days of ACC, you won't have much of experience and skills to talk about. But I think during your school days, during your other programs in your college days, if you have been engaged in certain extracurricular activities or had been part of any volunteer experience, then I think that would be fair enough to put in into your CV. Then we can talk about your achievements, whatever you have achieved, any recognition through ACCA during your paper journey or through schools or whatever it is, you can talk about that. And I think it's important that you talk about the interest areas as well. So what interests you? Because as a corporate house, there are multiple diverse departments that we can fit ACCA. So that has been the beauty of ACCA, because it is quite flexible, as well as the scope that we can go post our qualifications are quite high. So there might be multiple areas where we can fit you, but if you can highlight your interest requirement or interest areas, then that would definitely help us to better fit you to certain positions or job within the organization. So I think majorly these 5 areas, if you try to cover in your resume, that would be more than handy. And I've just quickly added a brief layout on how you can lay out the CV. So you can just put a name at the top with the contact details. Don't forget to put your contact details, especially on phone number that you would pick up or that you currently use. Don't give random numbers, because when we call students and they don't answer, they don't pick up, or the answer gets rejected, that's a big negative against that student. So at least try to pick up your call, be professional with that. Put a good email address over there, put a summary and all those informations you can fill up to. At least focus on these 5 bullet points that I've highlighted. Besides that, if there are any additional information that you want to put in your resume, you are more than welcome to do that. So the main gist that I would suggest students is to basically stand out in the CV, because I've already said that there are plenties of CV. Like once we open a ACC trainees vacancy, there are 50-60 CVs coming around, or at on bare minimum there are 50-60 CVs which all looks like same, and hardly we have 2-3 CVs that stands out on certain aspects, which are the CVs that we basically select. So if you are not able to stand out, then on the mass of 50-60 CV, your CV would just go into the dumping zone as well, because it's very difficult for us to filter through each and every CV. So we just quickly, hardly there would be 5 to 10 seconds that we engage in one CV. So on those 5 to 10 seconds, if your CV is able to catch our eye or is able to attract us, then you would be on the shortlisted zone. Else we'll just move to next CV, and the process continues till we complete everything. So as a student, yes, you might feel like, oh, I'm good at studies, I'm this, I'm that, I'm very good. But when it comes to us, we don't know you. That's the major thing that you need to understand. We don't know you personally, we don't know you professionally. We have received a CV, and we just don't have 1-2 CVs to look through. We have like 50-60 hundreds of CVs to go through. So those CVs are pretty much time in a time constant manner. We have to go through those CV. So that's why we need your CV needs to stand out or be attractive, or at least have some kind of differentiation from others. So why should I choose you, and why should I not choose B, or not choose C, or not choose D? So if I'm shortlisting certain CVs, then there should be certain point that has to stand out. So please ensure or please try to make your CV stand out. For that, we don't make any creativity that drawing, painting, art गर्ने होइन, but तपाईँको इन्फर्मेसन्सहरू लाइक वाट एभर इन्फर्मेसन्स यु हेभ त्यसलाई बेटर प्रेजेन्ट गर्ने, बेटर फर्मेटिङ गर्ने, प्रोफेसनल सिभी बनाएर चाहिँ द्याट डेफिनेटली यु क्यान स्ट्यान्ड आउट on your CV. So please focus on making your CV stand out, because on mass, it's very difficult for us to pinpoint your CV if it's not able to stand out. Okay, so basically, you will first and foremost thing for making a CV stand out, you definitely have to make a uh, take a proper resume format. Life is much easier early because we have plenty of resume builder websites where you can go and make a CV. You can download the Word format of CVs as well, where you can just edit the formats and put the information that you want to put in. Its life is much easier currently than it was previously, because back in our days we didn't have that much of internet access. Even we didn't have computers at home, so we need to go to a cyber where we need to ask the person to get a CV, and they used to make a very boring kind of CV back then. So currently we have plenty of formats, plenty of things that we need that we can get online at click CV or format of CV on the website as well, and get a very professional looking, very qualitative CVs as a also. So I would recommend you to go online, go to Google and find a proper format of CV that meets your requirement. That would be very helpful for you to craft that CV. So you can just tailor fit that CV as per your qualification, as per your requirement. So try to find the right format for your CV first. Once you have been able to format the right CV for you, then it is much more easier for you to apply for that position. So that's some first thing that you need to take in mind. So basically, there are three types of resume that we make. One is the functional resume, and the next one is the traditional chronological one. The major difference between these two formats are basically that functional resume focus more on your skills, more on your skill sets, more on your what you can bring into the table for an organization. Whereas the traditional chronological order follows the experience in a chronological orders, the education requirement in a reverse chronological order. So I think going to a functional resume as a fresher, because you don't have much of skills to express, you can just express the skills that you have built during your ACCA journey, during your volunteer experience, if any, or during your college days. Then you can just highlight on those skill sets and present your CV, because that's something that would be appealing and attractive for us to look into. So first and foremost, choose the right format, which you can get from Google at any point of time. You just can go to a Google and find out resume for freshers. Then you will get plenty of options. Choose a good options that you like and format that as per your requirement. First thing would be that. So you can just quickly see a example over here. There a CV on your left side. It looks more of a boring one, though it's a complete CV. All the information, there is summary, there's experience, there is educations, there is skills, certifications. All those things are there. So this CV is basically looks a bit boring, bit off, and the CV on right, which looks much better. It's similar thing. All this information are similar, but the presentation, the formatting is a bit different. So if I have to look at a CV on left and right, I might be preferred looking CV at right, because that looks more clean, more professional, bit of colorful. So that's what attracts us. So you have to make your CV more attractive. That's one thing you have to look into it, right? So simple thing, there's name, there's a tagline, data entry specialist, then there is a summary at the top, or your career objective, then you have your work history, then you have education, you have membership. On left, you have your personal info. You just put your email, LinkedIn. If you have any, LinkedIn definitely helps you to build your professional circle. Then you have your phone numbers. Then you have your skill sets, languages, hobby, and interest. So these are all things that you can simply. So it looks more neat and clean. And this is where these two CV would definitely stand out. So the CV on the right would stand out from the CV on the left, but because it's more better presented, looks more clean and more concise on the information part. Then you should ensure that your CV is concise. I just mentioned the CV on the right is more concise, and don't try to make like multi-pages CV, because that's something we weren't able to go through. So keep it concise to only one page of resume, and definitely at your early days, you'll definitely don't have much to express on a CV. So try to make it more concise and keep the information relevant. Don't try to bring in additional information which are not relevant for our point of view. Generally, what I see is like students come and mention their nationality, they mention their religious belief, they mention their marital life. So if the vacancy doesn't specifically demand these kinds of information, this information doesn't make any sense on a resume. We don't go through that information. What we go through is the skill sets you have, the interest area you have, the experience or the education or what you can bring into the table. So that's what we are looking into in CV. So including such unrequired information would only take up the space in a CV and won't add any value. So ensure that your CV is kept concise. Second thing, make your CV professional. It has to look professional. It can't be like a random CV or a handwritten CV and you are sending it out, or not properly formatted CV, or not properly proofread CV, or CV which has plenty of errors. This CV won't look good. So ensure that your CV is simple, the font is professional, the layouts are consistent, just like the CV on the right. The font are professionals, the layout is consistent, the presentation is done in such a manner that it looks good. There are proper headers for all those informations. The required informations are kept in bold as well. So this helps us to quickly navigate through the CV and ensures your chances of being shortlisted more. Don't use random font. Don't try to bring stylish font which doesn't look good on a professional circle. So try to keep your CV professional. You can use fonts like Arial. You can use fonts like Calibri, which are more used in a professional circle. So try to make this and keep a proper clear format, and ensure that you focus more on showcasing your potential and transferable skills. So you have to convince us that what you can bring on the table and what are the special skills that you have which other participants might not have. So you have to bring those kind of information into a CV so that the chances of you being shortlisted would be quite higher compared to it. Next thing to stand out is definitely career goals or objective that we put at the top of the CV. So this is the first thing every hiring manager sees. So whenever I go through a CV, the first thing I try to study is the career objective, because that summarizes what you are, what you can do, and what you have done. So try to keep at least maximum 3 sentences or 1 to 2 sentences of brief summary highlighting your career aspiration and why you are good fit for that internship role. So ensure you try to build a more compelling career aspirations. I think life's much easier now because we have GPT, Chat GPT, and all those AI where you can simply type few keyword and ask like what can be a better career objective for a people finance professional wanting to build a career in investment banking. If you just put 3 4 keywords to the Chat GPT, they will definitely give you certain career objective which you can tailor fit as per your requirement. So the grammar, the sentence structures are all taken care by the AI itself, so you can use those as free. So I suggest you guys to put it in your CV without failure. For example, you can just put a motivated recent graduate with a strong academic background in finance and an eagerness to apply theoretical knowledge in a real world investment setting, seeking an internship to further develop skills in financial analysis, research, and client relations. So you have clearly specified your past, what you are, where you stand, and what you want to do, and what are your expectations, or what are the areas that you can contribute it. So this two-liner would be more than enough for me to gauge that what capacity or what capability you can bring into. If any other information is required, I can quickly scroll down your CV and make a opinion on whether this CV is a fit for my organization or for the internship role that I'm looking for or not. Then talking about your education part of thing, so I request you to highlight your academic and extracurricular accomplishment, because all CVs will just mention like cleared FM paper, cleared FR paper, or this and that only. So include any academic accomplishments you have achieved, or any extra curricular activities. Maybe you were good at poet competition in your school days. Maybe you were good at writing essays. Maybe you were good at sports. Whatever it is, these kind of extracurricular activities brings or gives us a sense that he might have possessed some certain skills. So if you are a good poet, you might be good at language. If you are a sport person, you might be good at leadership and all those skills. So please don't feel shy to include those information, especially when you are applying for internship position, because you don't have much to highlight, and these are the information that you have to highlight. You can include any prizes, scholarship, honors you have received in academics. Additionally, any volunteer experience or any club experience or any student level uh, organizations you have experience, you can include that. For example, Rajiv can include that he conducted a session on CV building for all ACCA students. So that definitely highlights his CV on that part. So that's something you need to look into, because this will highlight your versatility and will display your soft skills like communication skills, your networking skills, your management skills. So these will all be highlighted through this kind of activities. So please include this kind of activities in your CV as well. Next, on the section of relevant experience and skills, as I have already mentioned, you might not have that all skills and experience or relevant experience for you to highlight. So for an fresher, what you can do is, if you had performed any college work, like you might have done certain valuations in your college life, then you can include that in your CV, like I did valuation of this. If you have studied certain papers or you have done research on certain papers, you can definitely include that. So basically, the funda is to showcase your capacity. So what capacity you can bring on the table for the organization, from your rapid learning to team working skills or environment adaptations. So whatever you have during a volunteer job or doing a part-time jobs or during a school level projects, whatever it is, if you have done something that is relevant for that position, or the skills is relevant enough for you to highlight, please don't forget to do that, because it's better to have something than rather submitting a half blank CV. So if you have some, don't, having said that, Firi, it's not like you'll fill up the whole A4 paper by putting all those random sits and jot down all those random things. No, that's not the objective. If it is a relevant experience, include it. If it's something is relevant, do include it. Just conducting a session or just doing a volunteer at a certain NGOs, that also does count as a relevant experience and skills. So that's something you can include. And one thing I know majority of students do is that they don't tailor fit their resume to the organizations they are applying for. They prepare one CV and they forward that CV to 50, 60 organizations at a lot. That's not how you stand out as well. Why? Because every organizations have a different culture, different mindset, different need, different business area they operate in. So whenever you are applying for an organization A, you try to highlight in your CV the skills that organization A requires. If you are applying for organization B, you try to highlight in a CV the skills, experience, or the relevancy that is required for organization B. So that is very critical for you to understand. For simple example, if you are applying for investment banking at my organization, you have to highlight the financial management skills that you have, the valuation thing, the financial analysis tools, the ratio analysis, whatever you have studied, you have to highlight on those key skills. Now, if you are applying for an accounting outsourcing job, then you'll have to highlight your knowledge of IFRS, maybe the taxation. So this is how you have to tailor fit your CV based on the requirement of each organization. And one easy uh, tool for that is to go through the vacancy or job descriptions of that position, because generally organization does open vacancy, does publish their vacancy, where they clearly mention the requirements, the job descriptions, everything are clearly mentioned. So you try to tailor fit your experience or your knowledge to meet that job descriptions, because that is a good job fit. Then your CV would be a good job fit. Maybe for organization B, you'll have to rearrange your CV and ensure that you meet the requirement of the job description that was listed in that vacancy. For organization C, you'll have to do this process. So you'll have to tailor fit your CV every time before applying to any job. You don't randomly send CV to all organization, one CV to forward it to each and every organization. Never do that. That's a big no. Try to tailor fit as much as possible and try to make your CV more in line to the job description as well as the job specification the organization have asked for. So that will definitely help your CVs to stand out. Also, try to quantify your achievement wherever possible. So I believe in initial days it's a bit difficult, but if you have achieved something, if you have helped your organization in your voluntary experience or whatever it is, you have helped to cut down the cost, you have helped to increase sales, you have done anything that can be quantifiable, try to quantify. Just don't write like I increase the sales. That doesn't make sense. I increase sales by this much times. I increase my sales of the organization by this much percentage. Try to quantify the result or achievement as much as possible, because that's something that will make your CV more attractive to look into. So try to quantify. One major thing that I see as a problem in major of students is the use of professional email ID. Don't put like pagalpremi@gmail.com in your CV. That is the biggest no for me. I never do that. Try to create a new, more professional CV. You can use a name, you can use a surname. Just use a name and surname to create an email ID. Don't just randomly create like monster guide to 102@gmail.com or daddy's princess @yahoo.com. Don't try to create those CV, or even if you have those email, don't put it in your CV, because whenever we are filtering out, these are the small parameters we try to look into as well, because all CVs are same. So there are 1-2 points that help us to gauge this CV is better. So two CV, both completed skills level, both at the same pace, same time, but one has a more professional email ID, one has a pagalpremima@hotmail.com. I would ignore the Pagal Premi wala CV and throw it away in the dustbin. So please make a professional email ID. Even if you don't have, the email IDs at Gmail are for free. You can go log in, create one, and use that email ID. That is big help. And it's really large mordone to whenever you are going to a professional meeting and you give out such a funny email ID, that is a big negative, big bad thing for an organization. So don't do those kind of thing. Next, proofread your CV. I don't want to see a CV which has grammatical errors, which has spelling mistakes, which has formatting errors, which has problems with punctuations. So go and proofread your CV once properly, thoroughly. Check the spelling, check the grammar, check the punctuation, check the fonts, check the formats, check everything before sending the CV. Don't just randomly at hurry send the CV with mistakes and errors. No, that can't work. That is big wrong. If you are sending CVs with error, I will expect that you'll once I offer you an internship and I ask you to get a report done, you'll send a error full report to me. So no, I don't want that to happen. So try to ensure you proofread your CV, go through your CV completely, and once the CV is error free, try to send that CV. Or you can use certain AI to go through a CV and recommend if there is any errors. It's easy because Word automatically highlights the spelling errors, highlight the punctuations error, highlights the wrong sentence structure. So use that dictionary tool of Word, which will definitely help you to make your CV more foolproof or proofread. And don't overcommit or don't give false information in a CV. Honesty is always valued, always respected, and always the best policy. Don't just randomly say things that you haven't done, because that's not what it is. Because once in interview will definitely cause, that might help you to pass the shortlisting process. But if in interview you come and if you ask the things that you have put in CV, and if you say, "होइन, मैले त यो त्यतिकै राखिदिएको हो," or "No, I haven't done that, this was mistake," you are straight out no. Will straight out in the interview, send you back home and throw your CV in the dustbin right away. We don't want to hire people that make false promises or hire people that have put wrong information in the CV. If you have nothing, just put it as it is. Don't try to over commit or don't try to overdo in your CV or exaggerate the information which actually is not true. So don't put false information, make it more honest, true, and fair CV as a whole. Next thing, I see not just on the freshers, but even experienced professional do this a lot. Read the requirements properly. Last time I had opened a vacancy for a CEO level position with certain years of experience, certain qualification requirement. I even had mentioned the job description clearly in that vacancy, and I could see people who have 0 years of experience who doesn't meet the qualification applying for that position. So don't do that. If you don't meet the requirement, don't apply. Straightforward. It's not like you त्यो तुक्का हाने जस्तो होइन, लाइक ओ यहाँ भ्याकेन्सी रहेछ म अप्लाई गरिदिन्छु के थाहा अर्को पोजिसनलाई बोलाउँछ कि. नो नो नो, द्याट डजन्ट वर्क. द्याट इज अ बिग नेगेटिभ भ्यू एज अ प्रोफेसनल. सो if you don't fit into that position or you don't meet that qualification, simply refrain yourself from applying for that job. And before you apply, understand the requirements properly. What is expected by the organization, the qualification wise, education wise, experience wise, even job description wise, and what is expected from you to work. It's very important that you go through that properly and tailor fit your CV as per the requirement before you apply. Right? So don't just randomly apply on all the vacancies that you see. Accounting मा गएर त्यहाँ भएको सबै भ्याकेन्सीमा randomly apply. No, don't do that. That's not how it is to be done. So read the requirement. If you meet that requirement or near to meet that requirement, apply. Else, stay away from application. Try to look for other positions as well. And follow the instruction properly. Some vacancy might ask you to apply through email. Some vacancy might be asking you to apply by sending the hard copy of your CV to their registered address or somewhere. So you have to follow that information properly. You can't like the CV might be the requirement might be to send something physically and you apply through email. Your CV goes to the dustbin because we won't even be looking at those CVs. So if there are any instruction written there, follow that instruction. If they have asked you to put certain subject matter, put that subject matter. If they have asked you to apply with an application letter, you have to apply from an application letter. If they have asked to physically send it to that place. So don't just randomly go and apply. Follow the instruction on the vacancy properly and do as per the instruction. Whatever they have asked for, apply in that manner, because doing something different would ensure your CV are not even looked into. So it just stays in our inbox and it just fades away in that inbox itself. So nothing happens on that CV. So it's important that you do this. Okay. So yeah, these are some, this was a sample of CV that you can follow. So top name, then you can have a title for yourself. You can put an ACCA finalist or ACCA final level student or an affiliate, whatever you are, you can put it over there. You can put a summary. I've been mentioning two maximum 3-liners of what your career objective is. Then put your contact address, contact number, your address, email ID. And if you want to put your LinkedIn ID, you can put it as well. That's not compulsory, but at least put a phone number that you pick up, email address that you use, and your location or address as well. Then you can come and put your educations. So up to your SLC, SCE, your +2 as well as your ACCA examination. And as a student, I recommend you to put the percentage that you have achieved as well, because if you have been getting a high percentage in your schools or your +2, then that is also a thing that we can look into before shortlisting the CV. That can be an attractive factor as well. So you can put that. Then any projects that you have done, the extracurricular activities that you were part of, skills, any skills that you have related to the organization, the financial modeling skill, data analysis skills, ratio analysis skills, the valuation skills, IRR calculation, whatever the skills you have, you can place it. Any achievements that you have achieved till date, you can put it. Any certificates, trainings, any trainings that your college have provided or that you have attended, you can put it on there. And languages, you can put it on there. I generally don't prefer to go much into a languages, but yes, that's a part as well students generally put. And interest, whatever interest area, that is something you can put into. Reading, traveling, hobbies, or your any skills that you have, that can be put into, because this is something we can gauge you as a person from your interest area as well. So I believe I covered the basic of resume, things that have to be included. And I think I missed one thing over here. Whenever you are sending a resume, don't just send a resume. At least send a application alongside the resume. Go to Google, find a proper format of an application letter. And whenever you are applying for a job, don't just send a CV over there. Send a proper application letter address to the HR department, date, to the company's name, the HR department, address, then use dear sir or madam. I introduce yourself briefly and mention why you are applying for the job, what interested you to that job, and request them to go through your CV for getting more information about you. And you can mention at the end that at any time you would be happy to discuss more about your qualification and your experience and how you can contribute to the organization. And you can thank them for giving time to go through your CV and just sign it off using your name, regards your name, and sign it off and attach before your CV and send it. Right? So if I get one CV only and a CV with application letter and CV, so the thing with application letter and CV would be something that I would wait or mark more. So at least have an application letter drafted. You can go to ChatGPT and type draft a application letter for a fresher for applying in investment banking. It will give you a template. You can go to Google and download the template as well, copy paste to your Word and format it as per your requirement. So that's something you can do it as well. So questions, I think there are 2, 3 questions that have already come. I'll address those questions at the end. I can see it, them popping up over here. So I'll address that at the end itself, right? So let me just complete through the presentation, then we can go through that later. So second part that I was asked to cover was that what is the time to start working? This is totally my perception, what I did and what I feel is good to do. So people might differ. Your tutors or your college might have given you different information. So I clearly specify that this is my personal recommendation. This is just my personal suggestion and something that I personally did and learned from my experience. So I think it's important that you plan your ACCA journey, your membership journey, when you plan to complete your education, when you plan to complete your membership as well. Because it's difficult that as an employer also, it's quite difficult these days that we have 4 exam sittings currently. So every after every 2.5 months, the student goes for a week or 10 days of leave. So that's also quite annoying for us as an employer, because time and again people go into leave and the work are quite not balanced. But yes, once we have hired a trainee, we need to understand that as well. We do understand, but sometimes it can look annoying as well. So do plan when you plan to get your membership done. So that is something you need to address as well. So when you plan to do certain papers, when you plan to start working, and you need to rebalance your lifestyle to manage both your education as well as your offices. So that's something you need to plan well upfront. General the recommendation is at least you complete the relevant skill levels paper before you go for job. So if you're going for audit firm, at least complete your FR or AA or audit and assurance paper, or you can just start those paper and start working. You can start for accounting nature job. You have to have the knowledge of financial reporting, so that's something you need to complete. If you want to come to investment banking or certain finance related jobs, I recommend you complete your FM paper. So plan your paper as per it. So it's quite flexible. You can do FM paper before FR or double A. So generally, if you talk about investment banking, I look at students that have completed a FR paper, financial reporting, as well as financial management paper, because these 2 skills are definitely helpful in the work environment. So I expect that. And if anyone is taking up the AFM paper as well, that's a big plus as well. So at least these 2 papers is something that I look into people completed, or at least they are going through that paper is something I look into whenever I shortly CV for my organization, especially the ACCA for ACCA training. So plan your journey as per that. So what are your career objective, where you want to start doing your internship? Try to complete those papers first, and other papers you can start gradually as well. So this is all on your planning work. And what I always believed and what I did is that starting early is not wrong. I can start early. Like I started in my CAT paper, like 2, 3 months down the line, I started ACCA. I started going to an audit firm and started working. And I tried to manage my education, planned my education to be completed, as well as the membership experience requirement to be completed simultaneously. So that's what I planned then. Because, because because I believe like the quicker you complete and go into the job market, lesser the competition you would have to fight at that point of time. So that's what I did. But it's all up to you, because ACCA is a flexible course. So you can pace your membership as per your requirement, as per your capacity, as per your uh, position, as per your presence. But I prefer to do it early. So that's what I did. But generally, if anyone comes up to me for recommendation, I generally suggest them to at least complete the relevant skills level paper and then go for the internship as well. So at least at that point of time, you will be developing certain level of maturity with yourself as well as knowledge, so that when you go to a real life work environment, you won't be caught confused, or you won't be able to not perform. So that would not be there. So at least complete the relevant skills level pressure. More quicker you can do, able to manage your education and work, more better for you, because you will be completing your membership quicker. That would add additional value to your CV post membership, and open doors for more higher level opportunity in future as well. So that's something you can look into it. So that's my recommendation on when, at what time should you start your internship. So that's something I suggest and recommend. So where to begin your ACCA or PR journey? Choosing right place for internship. I totally let this for student to decide on themselves based on their career aspirations. So generally, currently in Nepal, there are these are the areas that generally students prefer to go. Investment banking has been a hot cake for students lately. I have already said that I receive lots of messages in LinkedIn regarding I want to build in career in investment banking. How can I do it? Can you recommend me somewhere in investment bankings? And not just in ACCA students, even in MBA graduates, BBA graduates, they are more interested to work into investment banking as a whole. So this has been one of the most growing interest area for ACCA students. Then audit firms, yes, this was traditionally the one of the largest area where ACCA students went into. So this was basically the first point of articleship that we used to go into. So audit firms, and still is one of the most preferred area where ACCA students prefer to go. Then there is banking. Currently, there are certain banks that have been taking ACCA training as well. There is Noble Bank who has taken few trainees as well. There are other bank. I can see a vacancy for ACCA training in Muktinath Vikas Bank in ACCA career portal as well. Then you can go into an organization and do the accounting work there. Then you can work for your outsourcing firms as well, which is quite growing over there in Nepal. And I see a lots of student enrolling on those outsourcing firms, AZKs, Stalling Wells, Count on Me. There are plenty, Emittance. There are plenty of such audit firms that are, sorry, outsourcing firms that are currently hiring ACCA students, and the interest of ACCA student in these sections are growing. Then the private equity market has been growing as well. So there are also certain trainees requirement in this market. So basically, this kind of private equity company basically invest in private organizations. They invest in privately in these organizations. So you will have to do the valuation, you will have to do the due diligence, you will have to do the financial audit of those organizations, and reach to a conclusion whether you want to invest or not invest. Then there is finance and treasury function in corporate houses, the private organizations, you can work into that as well. So these are the few sectors generally our ACCA students currently in Nepal are going for the internship job. And this all depends on your career aspiration. So if you have decided on a career aspiration, like I want to go into investment banking, then you can start your journey in investment banking. That's the beauty of ACCA as a whole. It provides you that flexibility. It's not like you mandatorily have to work at least 2 years in an audit firm, or at least on these years on certain audit firms, and then you can go for a industrial training. No, ACCA provides that flexibility. We can use that flexibility as a whole. So if you want to work in an outsourced firm, build a career in outsourced firm, go there. If you want to work in banking, try find a vacancy in a banking as a whole. So that will be more in line in your career path, and that will add you the more relevant skill experience that will help you to grow your career. And if you're confused on where to go, what to do, ke गर्ने, कस्तो गर्ने, then I think you have to go for an audit firm. My general recommendation for people that don't have a fixed set of aspirations built in a student life, go for audit firm for at least 2 years. Work there for at least 2 years. There are plenty of benefits this provides. Yes, the earning is less there, but we are not there for earning. We are there for learning. We are there for growing. We are there for knowledge gaining. So what happens in audit firm is they will treat you as trainee and train you. You will have exposure of multiple of businesses, multiple of different kinds of businesses. You might be going audit of a bank, you might be going audit of insurance company or manufacturing company or service company or NGO and INGO. So based on the audit clients of that firm, you will be exposed to multiple different industry. So during that 2 to 3 years of journey, you can look into different industries and can find the industry that attracts you, or can by then you can find a industry where you want to build your career. So I think 2 years of audit at least would help you. And once that is done, then you for the third year of your PR, you can specialize on the industry that you can go and work. So on third year, if you want to work in investment banking, find a vacancy of a trainees in investment banking, go and apply. And by then, if I look into your CV, I see 2 years of audit experience already there. So your CV is definitely stands out because you have certain professional skills with you. You have certain technical set of skills that you have already built during that 2 years. So that is basically a value added thing for me, because I don't have to bring you and start training you from zero. I can start you from a mid-level point of career journey for you. That will help you as well. That will help me as an organization as a whole. So generally my recommendation, whenever there are students, my students coming to me, I say like go for audit firm for 2 years. When selecting audit firm, try to identify which clients the audit firm audits for. More diverse the audit firm with their clients, more better for you, because more different nature of industry knowledge you will have. You learn how manufacturing industry operates. You learn how banking does work. You learn how service sectors work. You learn how hydropowers work. So getting diverse knowledge of different environment is definitely helpful for you. And that's what audit firm helps you to do. If you come to investment banking, you will specializing on certain set of skills. Yes, in audit firm, you won't be master of something, but definitely you'll have knowledge, information of various organizations, various industry. And by then you can choose the industry you want to build your career. And for third year, go in specialization on that specific industry. That will definitely help you in your career growth. So that has been my career aspiration. One contrary that I definitely would like to share is that on your ACCA trainees days, don't just get attracted to the numbers or salary that organization pays. I strongly believe the 3 years of PR requirement is not for you to earn money. It's for you to earn knowledge, for you to earn skills, for you to sharpen yourself, for you to get relevant knowledge, information, and make you a better professional. Once you do that, money will automatically follow. You don't have to run after money. If you have the skills, the requirement, the exposure, the networks with you, definitely the payment would go up. You will be paid as per your experience and your qualifications. What I generally these days see is that plenty of students goes for number. Okay, that firm is paying 25,000 per month or 15,000 per month. Wow, the audit firm pays just 7,000 a month. No, that's too low. That's paying 50%. No, if you don't see a long-term career in that segment, don't just go into that segment for the sake of earning, right? म त के भन्छु भने 3 years is a time where the money you put is a capital expenditure, not a revenue expenditure. So capital expenditure are to be capitalized, and that's for a long term. We don't put them under PL and write those as expenses. So the 3 years you put in PER, even though the organization pays you very low, even the audit firm pays you nothing, if the learning skills is high, if you feel that this will aid to your career path, forget the numbers for at least few years, get the skills, learn it. Once you have done that, the numbers would automatically multiply and grow and will definitely increase. So that's something I really want to tell all ACCA students and almost all that we currently have over here. Because I see a lot, whenever I apply a ACCA trainee vacancy, there are 3-4 messages that comes like, how much would you pay us? How much are you paying a trainee? And my reply is like, I don't know on the numbers, but what I pay you is the career growth. What I pay you is the learning skills. These are the set of skills that you can build if you come and do this position. Number wise, I don't know. I'm not sure on the numbers. That's my general reply. So if that attracts you, come to me. If you want numbers, if you want salary, try finding a place where you get salary. That's up to you. Right? So once you have done your trainees, once you have been member, then definitely you'll get a permanent level position. You'll get the salary hike. You'll get the compensation as per the contribution you have put into the organization. So that's something I really want to focus. And I've already mentioned, focus solely on the career growth, learning opportunity, learning environment, and the mentor that you would be working with. Because the mentor plays a crucial role in your journey. ACCA also specifically highlights the requirement of mentor. So ensure that you find a right mentor, a mentor that can really support through your career journey, through your ACCA progression, organization that provides a good learning environment, good learning opportunities, and a position that aids to your long-term career growth. Focusing short term on money, the financial figures might lead to a certain collapse in a long-term future. So if it if everything comes together, that's like Sunma Sugandha. But if it doesn't, focus on the things that I've highlighted. Hello, the thing at the bottom which I have not highlighted will definitely come later. I'm sure that it will definitely come later. So ensure that on that part. So that's on choosing what organization we should go. So coming to facing an interview, I'll just highlight quickly through what are the things that you should do whenever you are facing an interview. First and foremost, I think I've already covered previously. Understand the job requirement, if any, thoroughly. Go to the vacancy, go to the requirements, understanding what the organization is expecting from the new employee. So that gives you the mindset that what are the things you will be doing into that organization. That aid to your career growth? Would that meet your practical experience requirement? Would that meet your knowledge sets? So that is something you need to go through it. ACCA ट्रेनिङको भ्याकेन्सी देख्यो टपमा आँखा चिम्लेर अप्लाई गरेर मात्र पनि हुँदैन. You need to understand what it is. What are the expectations? Are they offering you a compelling responsibility or not? That meets your skill set, that meets your knowledge requirement, and that definitely meets your membership journey or not भन्ने कुरा फर्स्टमा बुझ्न जरुरी छ. Second, student don't do this, is do a thorough research of the company before going for interview. Right? Generally, what do students do is that we say like, what do you know about us? What do you know about our company? What do you know about our position? कोही कोहीले के भन्छ भने मेरो साथीले अप्लाई गरिदिएको, मैले त अप्लाई पनि गरेको थिएन, मलाई त थाहा पनि छैन, मैले भ्याकेन्सी देखेँ यतिकै अप्लाई गरिदिएँ, मलाई त आई हेभ नो इन्फर्मेसन. द्याट इज समथिङ द्याट वोन्ट मेक यु स्ट्यान्ड आउट इन इन्टरभ्यू. सो एटलिस्ट गो थ्रु द कम्पनी. अहिले त it's easy. Every company has their website, their social media presences, their Facebook, LinkedIn, their Instagram, the Google profile. So you can quickly go through their website, go through their about me, who are the owners, who are the promoters, who are the board of directors, who are the management team, what are the services the organization does, I know what are the reports. You can go through the social medias and go through the comments, the feedbacks, the reviews that customer has done. You can talk about those reviews. This is something I read. So what have you done? So these are the things that you have to understand and go through before going for an interview. Understand the organization, understand the position. And if there is any confusion, you can definitely have the opportunity to ask them during that interview session as a whole. So do a research before going for a job interview. Don't just randomly go to and say like, okay, I have no idea, I didn't get time, this, that. No, that won't make you stand out. So do a research before going for the job. Third thing, prepare for common questions. There are few questions that generally is been asked in every interview, like do your introduction, what are your strengths, what are your weakness, what you learned, what are the things that you can bring into the organization, commitments, what are your career aspirations, where do you see 5 years, 10 years down the line. These are few questions that generally comes into all interviews. So you can prepare answer for these questions before going there. Right? So your question, like there's no rocket science behind it. You can simply figure it out. You can go prepared on those questions. That will make you more confident, more fluent on your answer, and definitely ensure that you can stand out. Because you might have the skills, you might have the knowledge, you might have everything. But the problem is that you will be judged on the 5 or 10 minutes of interview that you are attending. To interview, if you are not able to communicate well, if you are not able to answer the questions properly, not able to put your knowledge into words and communicate, देन तपाईँसँग भएको नलेजको बारेमा आई विल हेभ रियली आई विल हेभ नो आइडिया अबाउट द्याट. So I would feel that you don't have knowledge, you don't have the skills to fit into that position, and your interview would not be marked properly. So that's something you do. Then you can prepare for key subject matters as well. See, what you need to think and what ACCA would help you to think is that all organizations have their own skill sets requirement. है मैले अघि पनि भने अकाउन्टिङ कम्पनीमा दे विल मोर आस्क यु टु द अकाउन्टिङ रिलेटेड क्वेशन्स. फाइनेन्स नेचर कम्पनीमा दे विल आस्क यु मोर फाइनेन्स एनपिभी क्यालकुलेसनको, भ्यालुएसन्सको, आइआरआर क्यालकुलेसनको, फाइनेन्सियल रेसियो एनालाइसिसको क्वेशन्स होला. अ कम्पनी द्याट स्पेशलाइजेसन अन ट्याक्स will ask you question related to tax. Audit firms will ask you questions related to audit, IFRS, all those things. So what you can do is you can understand the nature of the organization through the company research and practice any key informations or questions that those organization can ask. Finance company मा जानुहुन्छ भने FM paper actually फेरि you can run down through it. अकाउन्टिङ फर्ममा जानु भएको छ भने एफआर को क्वेशन्स तपाईँले पढेर जान सक्नुहुन्छ एक्चुअली कोर्स सिलेबस. सो त्यसले गर्दाखेरि यु विल बी मोर प्रिपेयर्ड टु दि questions, specific questions that they must be asking. I know generally when people come to me, I ask like NPB questions, I ask financials questions, maybe few debit and credit here and there. So I'll just ask and try to gauge what the information these people have. Through 1-2 questions I do generally ask. So you try to figure out what subject matter they might be asking on and prepare on that subject matter. Yes, they might ask totally different kura. That's fair, but generally मैले जुन पोजिसनलाई इन्टरभ्यू लिँदैछु त्यो पोजिसन स्पेसिफिक चाहिने रिक्वायरमेन्ट रिलेटेड क्वेशन्सहरू नै सोध्छु मैले हैन. त्यो भएपछि इट्स इम्पोर्टेन्ट द्याट यु प्रिपेयर फर द्याट. अनि त्यो कुराहरू जेडीमा पनि यु विल फाइन्ड इट आउट लाइक वाट आर द एक्सपेक्टेसन रिक्वायरमेन्ट र त्यो अनुसार नै तपाईँले स्पेसिफिक म्याटरमा चाहिँ यु क्यान प्रेजेन्ट अन द्याट सेल्फ. नेक्स्ट यु क्यान प्र्याक्टिस look into a mirror, talk to a person. You can simply practice answering, introduce yourself. You can give your introduction to yourself. Certain what are your hobbies? You can answer that. What are your career aspirations? You can set a question, practice and answer that. This will enhance your confidence whenever you are tackling an interview level scenario. Because interview is definitely grilling. There are senior level position. There are multiple 2-3 people sitting over there. High senior level. Most peoples might be there. People who you would look up as a celebrity, they might be there. So this kind of environment might be compelling, might be hard on you. I know you might get nervous, you might feel like your legs are shaking, the words are not coming. But if you are able to practice, that definitely helps you a lot. Dress properly. Don't wear a grunge pant. Don't wear a crop t-shirt. Don't wear a random joggers and go to an interview. No. Try to dress professionally. If better, you can put on a short, you can put on a pant or leather shoes. Even if you don't have, you can at least try to be a business casual, at least try to be a semi-formal whenever you're going for interview. Right? So don't just randomly go like you're wearing a grunge pant, wearing half pants, joggers, or you whatever it is. Don't wear loud t-shirts giving unnecessary messages. All those punk are not dead kind of t-shirt. No, I don't like to see interviewer coming, sorry, or employee or a trainee coming on those kind of dresses. I judge them on how they come, how they present, how they sit and attend that interview. Next big thing, be on time. One major advantage that helps you to calm down. If you reach 10-15 minutes early, you can go there, sit there, look into the organization structure, what people are doing. So you can just get a feel of what the organization is about. त्यो पनि तपाईलाई इन्टरभ्यु फेस गर्नलाई हेल्प गरिरहेको छ र मेजरली तपाई त्यहाँ बस्नुहुन्छ, इट रिल्याक्सेस यु. हैन 12 बजे इन्टरभ्यु छ, 12:05 पुग्यो भने यु आर रसिङ टु गेट द इन्टरभ्यु, रसिङ टु गेट योर बसेस, रसिङ फर योर फाइल्स. हैन पुरा कुदेर जानु भएको छ त्यो रिसेप्सनमा, ए आई इन्टरभ्यु आई रिच्ड भन्नु भएको छ, उसले हतार हतार इन्टरभ्यु उसमा लान्छ र त्यहाँ बस्दा यु विल बी लाइक फ्या परिराख्नु भएको हुन्छ. So that doesn't help you to attend that interview. So at least reach 10-15 minutes early for the interview, settle down, be calm, look into the environment, talk to the receptionist, be nice to her. You'll understand alikiti bhaye pani about that organization, which will definitely contribute better on your interview. And coming late for interview is already a big no, because that's not professional. And that's something I'll definitely judge candidates on as well. Because someone is late means they are not professional. They are not committed to that interview. Yes, some exceptional scenario comes, emergency होला, last moment केही problem होला, communicate that upfront to the organization. So केही भएर problem भयो, तपाईको टायर पञ्चर भयो, बस छुट्यो, whatever it is, you can simply communicate, sorry, I was on time, but due to this scenario, I have not been. Please forgive me and pass on these messages. That definitely is helpful. Take multiple copies of resume with you, so you can hand it out to the interviewers. And at initial days, try to carry a file where you put your educational qualification, your experience, your certificates, your training certificates, and give it out to the interviewer before attending that interview. This looks more professional as well. With time, you can skip on this part. अहिले त धेरै सिभीहरु त अर्गनाइजेसन आफैले प्रिन्ट गर्छ, बट क्यारिङ अ सिभी एज वेल एज अ फाइल विथ डकुमेन्ट्स, अ प्रपर प्रोफेसनल फाइल है। फेरि त्यो होइन कि त्यो ब्यागबाट पेपर झिकेर पेपर सर्ट गर्दै बाँड्न स्टार्ट गर्ने होइन। मेक इट प्रोफेसनल, क्यारी अ प्रपर फाइल। त्यो प्लास्टिक फाइल, त्यो भित्र प्लास्टिक भएको जहाँ पेपर इन्सर्ट गर्न मिल्छ, त्यो फाइल लिएर तपाईँले त्यो ह्यान्ड आउट गर्नुभयो भने इट लुक्स प्रोफेसनल। द्याट्स समथिङ द्याट विल मेक योर इम्प्रेसन इन एन इन्टरभ्यू, सो डु द्याट एज अ होल। अरू कुरा, दिज आर अल बेसिक थिङ्स द्याट इज देयर। होइन, स्टे कन्फिडेन्ट, स्माइल, ह्याभ अ प्रपर बडी ल्याङ्ग्वेज, होइन, बोल्दाखेरि आई कन्ट्याक्ट गरेर बोल्नुहोस्, मेन्टेन अ प्रपर एक्सपोजर, किप योर मोबाइल इन साइलेन्ट बिफोर अटेन्डिङ द्याट इन्टरभ्यू, ट्राई टु स्पिक बिट लाउडर, just don't talk to yourself. Ensure that the interviewer hears you loud and clear. Be honest. You can't go and fake. You can go and make stories in the interview. Try to talk on the point that you have to talk. Be very concise. Don't try to over reveal informations. Don't try to share all your personal informations. And don't try to sound too desperate as well, like hunai parcha type ko. Don't be very rude to the interviewers. Be professional. Use professional words. And don't talk bad about your ex-employees. That's wrong. I don't want, if you are talking bad about your ex-employees, I'm sure that you'll talk bad about our organization few months down the line or few years down the line as well. So don't be bad mouth about your current or past employer as well. Be thankful to the interviewer as well as grateful to the interviewer whenever you should thank them for giving you time and opportunities, and you should definitely thank them individually before you leave from that professional circle. So whenever you enter into your room, ask them, can you sit down, give them the files, and then follow what they say, answer them. That's something you can do in an interview scenario as well. I already said honesty is the best policy. You can not provide wrong information. Don't do it. And yes, also prepare questions for the interviewers as well. फेरि उहाँलाई तपाईले गएर इन्टरभ्यू लिनलाई हैन, ask them question related to the job position, ask them the question related to the company, ask them how, if selected, you can add value to that organization, or ask them like what are the jobs you would be assigned if you were to be selected, so that you can nurture your skills on that regard. So prepare few questions which you can ask to the interviewer, not like तपाईको घर कहाँ, यो कहाँ, no, not that kind of question. Ask the company specific, job specific, your profile specific question, and that helps to build a proper impression as well, because the interviewer would feel that you are prepared for the job, you are interested into the job, you have done your homework well. So that definitely adds the level of impression as well. So that's what you do in a professional circle. So talking about my expectations or organization expectations from the trainee. So what we expect is first and foremost the commitment as well. Yes, employees can leave the job. There is no like hard and fast binding rule that you'll have to work with my organization for this much period of time. No, that doesn't work. But what we expect is that once we have invested in you, hiring is an investment as a whole. Like we put the vacancy, we filter the CV, we take interviews, we make the letters, the onboarding processes, we do the on-the-job trainings, we fit you. So this all has cost for me as well. My staff cost, my review cost, time cost. So too, what we expect is that if someone is coming for us, we expect them to at least work for a certain period of time before they switch. We don't want people coming, living in 3 months, going away. So that is something we don't like it. Yes, it's a two-way process. Organization has to give a proper work environment, proper career path, growth opportunities, adequate payment. सबै हुनुपर्छ. I agree to that. But कहिलेकाहीँ के हुन्छ नि, स्टुडेन्ट कम्स एन्ड से लाइक, ओ मलाई त त्यहाँ 2000 बेसी छ, म त्यहाँ जान्छु, मलाई त काम गर्ने झ्याउ लाग्यो, म त गर्दिनँ, म त पढ्छु. सो यस्तो कुरा भयो भने चाहिँ द्याट्स अ बिग नोस, बिकज वी हेभ इन्भेस्टेड आवर टाइम, एफोर्ट which is equivalent to money for an organization on you. So at least have certain years of time commitment, which is very critical. Committed people are one of the more valued employee in an organization. अघि पनि मैले भने फेरि रिपोर्टिङ फोकस अन लर्निङ एन्ड ग्रोथ. आई वान्ट स्टुडेन्ट्स इफ दे आर कमिङ फर इन्टर्नसिप एन्ड ट्रेनिङ टु आस्क मी वाट दे क्यान लर्न, how can I set their career path, how can the organization fit to their career objective, rather asking कति पे गर्नुहुन्छ मलाई. त्यो अडिट फर्मले 15,000 दिन्थ्यो, त्यसले यति दिएछ, मेरो साथी यहाँ यति छ, मलाई यति त चाहिन्छ. त्यो कुराहरू चाहिँ इनिशियल डेजमा आई डोन्ट लाइक टु एड्रेस मच. यस, we have certain policies, all organizations will have certain policies, will compensate you as per that policy. Rather, I would be adding that capital value to you. That means तपाईको career growth skills, तपाईको technical skills, तपाईको knowledge skills, तपाईको soft skills, networks, name it, you will receive in an organization. So focus on those things rather than getting money. What I see lately, like past 2 to 3 years, my students are like so money minded day one. But yes, कसैलाई घरमा डिफिकल्टिज होला, कसैलाई प्रब्लम छ होला. आई अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड त्यो सिनारियोमा यु विल ह्याभ टु सपोर्ट योर फ्यामिली, यु विल ह्याभ टु लुक इन्टु मनी एज वेल. तर इफ यु आर एबल टु एड्रेस योर डे टु डे लाइफस्टाइल, देन इभन इफ यु ह्याभ टु वर्क फर इन एन अनपेड म्यानर, आई बिलिभ इफ द करियर पाथ इज युज, आई वुड हेभ गन फर द्याट. है, मैले त अडिट फर्ममा काम गर्दा दे युज टु पे मी 3,000, सेकेन्ड इयर 4,000, लास्ट इयर 5,000. बट द लर्निङ द्याट आई लर्न इन द्याट 3 years was much more valuable than the mere 5,000 ko number banda, much higher with 3-4 digit behind that, and that has helped me to on higher later, be a better professional, be a better person in life as well. So that's something I really value. Now, if I have to go back to time and to my ACCA student life, I'll still go to an audit firm and I'll still do the same thing again and again. Even if there are organizations that are paying 20,000-30,000 to trainees in 5-6 month time, I'll still go to audit firm. And people that come up to me, I still say this to everyone. That's my personal opinion. Some people might differ, but it's my personal opinion. I'm very much thankful that I choose that way myself as well. Next thing, what we expect is at least students to build certain skills themselves. ACCA आफैले पनि तपाईलाई MS Office को प्याकेजेसहरुमा स्किल्सहरु सिकाइरहेको हुन्छ. So at least student can have certain basic knowledge as well. Life is much easier अहिले due to your internet era. There are courses available, YouTube videos, there are Udemy's, Coursera जस्तो website where you can learn basic skills for free. अफिस प्याकेज सिकाइरहेको हुन्छ, बेसिक अकाउन्टिङ सफ्टवेयरको प्याकेज, लोकल ट्याक्सेसनको प्याकेज, फाइनान्शियल मोडलिङको प्याकेज. सो यस्तो स्किल्सहरु तपाईले आफैले इनबिल्ड गरेर लिएर आउनु भयो भने एक त तपाईको सीवीमा पनि यो स्किल्स देखिने बित्तिकै यो सीवी विल स्ट्यान्ड आउट, इन्टरभ्यूमा पनि यु विल स्ट्यान्ड आउट, र काममा आएपछि पनि यु विल स्ट्यान्ड आउट अगेन्स्ट अदर ट्रेनिज हु डोन्ट ह्याभ दिस स्किल्स. भनेपछि तपाईको करियर पाथ मोर क्विकर हुन्छ हैन. बिकज स्टुडेन्ट डेजमा यु आर फ्री टाइम, बिहान म्याक्सिमम 11-12 बजीसम्म क्लास हुन्छ, त्यो पछि त यु आर फ्री द होल डे. अब तपाईले 1-2 घण्टा इन्टरनेटमा टिकटक कम हेरेर, फेसबुक कम चलाएर, सर्ट्स कम हेरेर यस्तो स्किल्सहरु बिल्ड गर्नलाई ट्राई गर्नुभयो भने धेरै हेल्प हुन्छ. अहिले त पाइथनहरु छ, फाइनान्शियल मोडलिङ सफ्टवेयरहरु छ हैन, टेक्निकल सफ्टवेयर छ, सर्च इन्जिन अप्टिमाइजेसन, डिजिटल मार्केटिङ, यति धेरै सफ्ट स्किल्सहरु छ कि विच यु क्यान लर्न. एन्ड त्यसले तपाईलाई एक त आफुलाई पनि सेलेबल बनाउँछ, अर्गनाइजेसनमा पनि मोर भ्यालु बनाएर तपाईको आफ्नै फिजिकल प्रेजेन्सहरु बिल्ड गरिरहेको हुन्छ. सो दिज आर समथिङ दैट वी एक्सपेक्ट फ्रम द ट्रेनिज व्हेन दे कम फर जब इन आवर अर्गनाइजेसन. सो आई quickly talk about careers in investment banking because that is where I'm currently engaged and that's what I'm specialized upon. So yes, there are multiple departments we can fit ACCA trainees. So we have mutual fund. We have like almost 10 arab ko mutual fund under management. So त्यहाँ पनि there are investment, कुन stock किन्ने, कुन बेच्ने भन्ने decision making हुने department छ. So त्यहाँ पनि we can work fit ACCA trainee. Then accounting of mutual funds छ. So day to day हाम्रो जसरी organization को accounting हुन्छ, mutual fund have their own different sets of account to be prepared. So त्यहाँ पनि we can fit ACCA trainees. I have few ACCA training working in this both environment. Then portfolio management पनि there is buy sell decision to be made, कुन share किन्ने, कुन share बेच्ने. So त्यहाँ पनि we have few ACCA trainees working. Then there is portfolio management को client को accounting part, त्यहाँ पनि हाम्रो ACCA छ. Then relationship management with clients, त्यो department पनि छ. Then we have advisory department where we advise client on raising fund, financial advice, restructuring. There are plenty of things that we do here. So त्यहाँ पनि we can fit into. Then there is accounts department of accounts मा त accounting, MIS मा ACCAs हरु automatically fit हुने भइहाल्यो नि. Then there is private equity venture capital fund where we invest privately on सर्टेन नट लिस्टेड कम्पनीजहरूमा सो त्यहाँ पनि वी क्यान फिट इन्टु ड्यु डिलिजेन्स पार्टमा कम्पनीको फाइनेन्सियल रेसियोज एनालाइसिस कम्पनीको फाइनेन्सियल स्टेटमेन्ट एनालाइसिस अकाउन्टिङहरूमा पनि वी क्यान फिट इन्टु देन वी हेभ अ सेपरेट रिसर्च डिभिजन द्याट लुक्स इन्टु इक्विटी रिसर्च फन्डामेन्टल फाइनेन्सियल एनालाइसिस टेक्निकल चार्ट एनालाइसिसको कुराहरू गरिरहेको हुन्छ त्यहाँ पनि वी क्यान फिट एसिसिए ट्रेनिज देन देयर इज जेनरल रिसर्च वेयर वी क्यान look into the overall economy, the macroeconomic part of view, the general trend of companies. So त्यहाँ पनि we can find ACCA training. So ACCA ले यस्तो राम्रो प्लेटफर्म दिन्छ कि जसले गर्दा हेर्नुहोस् त यहाँ कति धेरै डिपार्टमेन्ट छ मैले जहाँ पनि लगेर तपाईँलाई फिट गरेर प्रोडक्टिभ बनाउन सक्छु होइन सो त्यो हुनाले चाहिँ इट्स बेटर द्याट यु आइडेन्टिफाई कुन एरियामा जाने भन्ने कुरा हो र मान्छे इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ आउन खोजेको पनि दे आर मल्टिपल फ्यासेट्स अफ एक्सपिरियन्स द्याट अर एक्सपोजर द्याट यु क्यान बिल्ड इट्स नट लाइक एउटा मात्र पार्टमा होइन देयर इज म्युचुअल फन्ड देयर इज पोर्टफोलियो देयर इज एडभाइजरी देयर इज आइपिओ गर्ने टिम देयर इज प्राइभेट इक्विटीको टिम देयर इज रिसर्च देयर इज अकाउन्टिङ यति धेरै ठाउँ छ कि लाइक द डाइभर्सिटी वी हेभ इज क्वाइट हाई र त्यसले नै गर्दा स्टुडेन्टहरूको चाहिँ अट्र्याक्सन टुवर्ड्स इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ बढेको हो देन देयर इज लाइक अब स्किल सेटको कुरा गर्दा तपाईँले प्री नै फाइनेन्सियल एनालाइसिस त आई थिङ्क एफआरमा पढिसक्नुहुन्छ टेक्निकल एनालाइसिस सिक्नुभयो चार्ट्सहरू रिड गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ द्याट इज भ्यालु एडिङ इक्विटी भ्यालुएसन आई बिलिभ एफएमको पेपरमै छ डिभिडेन्ड डिस्काउन्ट मोडल्सहरू तपाईँको फ्री क्यास फ्लो डिस्काउन्टिङ मोडल डिसिएफहरू होइन तपाईँको त्यो कुराहरूले पनि तपाईँको डेफिनेटली भ्यालु एड गर्छ फाइनेन्सियल मोडल्सहरू बनाउने प्रोजेक्सन्सहरू गर्न सक्ने बिजनेस प्लान्सहरू क्राफ्ट गर्न सक्ने यो कुराहरूले डेफिनेटली भ्यालु एड गर्छ होइन र यो कुराहरू इट्स not difficult to understand. It's easy to understand as well, and you can easily find the. Is my screen shared? Because I've been thrown out, so I'm not sure if my screen is shared. Okay, I just got the access to share screen. सो या सो यो फाइनेन्सियल प्रोजेक्सन स्किल्सहरू यो भनेको चाहिँ तपाईँले यो फाइनेन्सियल मोडलहरू लिङ्कडिनमा पनि कति पोस्ट गरिरहेको हुन्छ स्टुडेन्ट्सहरूले अरू तपाईँले गुगलमा गएर खोज्नुभयो पनि यो भेट्नुहुन्छ एक्सेल मोडल हो यो बेसिकली सो टु प्रोजेक्ट द नेक्स्ट 5 years फाइनेन्सियल्स अफ द कम्पनी होइन उसको प्रफिट एन्ड लस के हुन्छ उसको क्यास फ्लो कस्तो बन्छ ब्यालेन्स सिट कस्तो बन्छ यो सबै कुराहरू पनि गर्न सिक्नुभयो भने द्याट डेफिनेटली हेल्प्स होइन भने पनि विल डेफिनेटली टिच यु बट जति इनबिल्ड भयो त्यति नै बेटर टु स्ट्यान्ड आउट भनेर आम सेटिङ टुल्सहरूमा आई एक्सपेक्ट स्टुडेन्ट्स टु हेभ एटलिस्ट डेटा एनालिसिस म्यानेजमेन्ट टुल्स रिसर्च स्किल्सहरू होइन गुगलमा गएर हाउ यु क्यान फाइन्ड इन्फर्मेसन हुन्छ राष्ट्र ब्याङ्कको वेबसाइटको रिपोर्ट्सहरू पढ्ने बानी बसाल्ने यो इकोनोमिक न्युज मिडियाजहरू फलो गर्ने होइन त्यहाँ प्लेन्टी अनलाइन मिडियाजहरू अहिले फलो गर्नुभयो हुन्छ दे आर लाइक इकोनोमिस्ट इन लिङ्कडिन हु पुट देयर ओपिनियन उहाँहरूलाई तपाईँले फलो गर्नुहुन्छ भने उहाँहरूको पनि टाइममा उहाँहरूको ओपिनियनहरू पढेर अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ सो दिज आर जस्ट बेसिक थिङ्स द्याट यु क्यान डु के अनि एक्सेल स्किल्स इज मस्ट फाइनेन्स अकाउन्टिङमा एक्सेल इज द ब्रेड एन्ड बटर सो त्यो सिक्नै पर्छ तपाईँहरूको एक्जाममा पनि कम्प्युटर बेस्ड एक्जाममा युल हेभ टु राइट रिपोर्ट इन एमएस वर्ड काइन्ड अफ प्लेटफर्म युल हेभ टु डु यर क्यालकुलेसन इन स्प्रेडसिट्सहरू सो त्यहाँ पनि तपाईँलाई एक्सेल अफिस प्याकेजको चाहिँ इन्फर्मेसन चाहिँ रिक्वायर्ड हुन्छ होइन अब पाइथनहरू सिक्न सक्नुहुन्छ मोर बेटर अब सक्नु हुँदैन भने पनि द्याट्स नट अ एक्सक्लुसिभ रिक्वायरमेन्ट माइन्डसेटमा आई वान्ट पिपल टु बी डिसिप्लिन्ड यस बिकज इन्भेस्टमेन्ट भन्ने बित्तिकै इट कम्स टु डिसिप्लिन सो पिपल हेभ टु बी डिसिप्लिन एन्ड ब्रिङ अ पोजिटिभ एटिट्युड एन्ड माइन्डसेट टु दि अर्गनाइजेसन एज अ होल सो आई थिङ्क द्याट्स द प्रेजेन्टेसन सो या 8:20 भयो सो 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A I can take it. So let's move into Q&A, Rajiv, if that's okay.
Yes, that is totally fine.
Okay, so first I'll go through the chat मा भएको क्वेसन्सहरू सिरियल्ली अनि त्यो पछि कसैको लाइक देन यु क्यान अनम्युट वन्स आई हेभ कम्प्लिटेड देन आई लेट द फ्लोर ओपन एन्ड यु क्यान अनम्युट युर सेल्फ एन्ड आस्क एज वेल है आई जस्ट जुम इट अप सो गुड इभिनिङ सर इन्ट्रेस्ट एरियाजमा चाहिँ वाट आर द थिङ्स वी क्यान इन्क्लुड के इक्जाम्पल दिनुहोस् न भन्नुभएको छ योग्यताजीले सो त्यसमा इन्क्लुड गर्न सक्ने भनेको बेसिकल्ली अब जस्तै इफ युआर कमिङ टु इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ मेबी तपाईँलाई इक्विटीतिर इन्ट्रेस्ट छ एनालाइसिस फाइनेन्सियल एनालाइसिसतिर इन्ट्रेस्ट छ भ्यालुएसन्सतिर इन्ट्रेस्ट छ अरू तपाईँलाई के भन्छ फाइनेन्सियल मोडलिङतिर छ अरू एमआइएसतिर इन्ट्रेस्ट छ सो तपाईँलाई त्यो अर्गनाइजेसनमा भोलि केमा काम गर्ने इन्ट्रेस्ट छ त्यो एरियाजहरूलाई चाहिँ तपाईँले कोड गरिदिनु भयो भने हुन्छ होइन, अरू अरू तपाईँको हबिजहरू पनि तपाईँले बेसिकल्ली इन्क्लुड गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ. सो द्याट्स अल्सो टोटल्ली ओके. A sir has asked, I've seen some employers who doesn't specify in the vacancy what they are looking for. I saw a vacancy of a Nepali accounting software company and I applied for it thinking it's for accounting intern cause it is an accounting software, but later they called me and they told me that it was internship for customer service, like calling their client and solving their problem. Not only this, sometimes I have applied for internship and later they are calling me and saying it's for HR or marketing intern. I have seen a lot of vacancy that doesn't specify. What should we do? Yes, these kind of things happens in Nepal. About the problem, sir. So, अहिले चाहिँ organization have more evolved and started posting a proper vacancy. So, if a vacancy looks dubious, you can refrain away. Else, LinkedIn मा एउटा support के पनि छ त भन्दाखेरि they will show you the list of people that are working in that organization. So कोही तपाईँको चिन्ने छ भने you can approach them. कोही नेटवर्कबाट पनि अप्रोच गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ अर डाइरेक्टली तपाईँले चाहिँ आई सो योर भ्याकेन्सी अन लिङ्कडिन इफ इट्स ओके टु सेयर बिट मोर इन्फर्मेसन भनेर चाहिँ त्यहाँको कोही तपाईँले कन्ट्याक्ट पर्सनलाई रिच आउट गर्नुभए पनि हुन्छ. अन्टिल एन्ड अनलेस द अर्गनाइजेसन हेज स्पेसिफिकल्ली मेन्सन द्याट दे वोन्ट आन्सर टेलिफोन इन्क्वायरिज, दे वोन्ट आन्सर कोल्ड कलिङ्स, दे वोन्ट आन्सर दिस काइन्ड अफ थिङ भनेर मेन्सन भएको छैन भने चाहिँ यु क्यान डु इट. कुनैले चाहिँ स्पेसिफिकल्ली दे मेन्सन द्याट दे डोन्ट वान्ट टु रिसिभ कल्स रिगार्डिङ दिस भनेर भनेछन् चाहिँ डोन्ट डु द्याट भनेको कुरा चाहिँ यु हेभ टु फलो. सर आरए फर्मबाट इन्टर्न सुरु गर्दा के एफेक्ट गर्छ कि नै? नोट गर्दैन, बट हेर्दाखेरि आइल से द्याट क्लाइन्ट बेस कस्तो छ चाहिँ हेर्नुहोस् वेन एभर यु गोइङ फर अडिट फर्म, बिकज तपाईँको जति राम्रो क्लाइन्ट बेस भयो, जति डाइभर्स क्लाइन्ट बेस भयो, त्यति नै ग्रोथ लर्निङ अपर्च्युनिटिज धेरै हुन्छ. सो ट्राई टु फाइन्ड अ फर्म विच एज अ डाइभर्स क्लाइन्ट बेस वेयर यु क्यान एक्चुअली लर्न योर सेल्फ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ गर्नुभयो. सर इज द्याट ओके टु मेक सिबी बाई ओन थ्रु एमएस वर्ड? इट्स भेरी पर्फेक्ट. गर्ने नै त्यही हो. एमएस वर्डमा गएर अझै लेआउट तपाईँलाई गर्न सजिलो छ, गाह्रो लाग्छ भने एमएसमा पनि तपाईँले त्यहाँ लेआउट्सहरू भेट्नुहुन्छ, वर्डमा पनि. अर यु क्यान सिम्पली डाउनलोड सर्टेन लेआउट्स एन्ड कस्टमाइज दोज लेआउट्स एज पर यर रिक्वायरमेन्ट. त्यो तपाईँले गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ. वाट वर्क वी गेट इन इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ एज इन्टर्न्स सोध्नु भएको छ. आई थिङ्क आई हेभ अलरेडी एक्सप्लेन. यदि छैन भने यु क्यान रियाक्स मी वन्स आई ओपन द प्लेटफर्म. डु यु मिन नेपाल अडिट फर्म? यस, आई मिन नेपाल अडिट फर्म. यो सबै कुरा चाहिँ मैले नेपालको कन्टेक्समै प्रेजेन्ट गरेको. आई एम नट टक अबाउट इन्टरनेसनल कन्टेक्समा. एन्ड इज द ग्याप बिट्विन 12 एन्ड एफेक्ट एसिसी एफेक्ट माई इन्टर्नसिप? सुड नट. But if the examiner, examiner भन्नाले चाहिँ the interviewer might be willing to ask you, so you need to have a proper explanation, at least have explanation ready for why it was. How do you find those vacancies? Vacancy लाई I think LinkedIn is a good platform. अर्को एसीसी को आफ्नै क्यारियर पोर्टल छ, त्यहाँ पनि तपाईँको भ्याकेन्सिजहरू पब्लिस हुन्छ. द्याट इज फ्री अफ कस्ट, यु क्यान रजिस्टर देयर. अर्को आई थिङ्क एसीसी नेपाल अफिसले पनि उसको ग्रुपहरूमा भ्याकेन्सिजहरू सेयर गरिरहेको हुन्छ. प्लस अर्को एसीसी क्लब नेपाल भन्ने फेसबुक प्लेटफर्म लाइक तपाईँको यो ग्रुप जस्तो ग्रुपहरू छ. सो त्यस्तोमा तपाईँले लगइन गर्नुभयो भने त्यहाँ पनि तपाईँले भ्याकेन्सिजहरू भेटिराख्नु भएको हुन्छ. अनि कुनै त फर्ममा तपाईँलाई स्पेसिफिकली इन्ट्रेस्ट छ भने त्यहाँ तपाईँले जस्ट रेज्युमेहरू ड्रप मात्र गरिदिन पनि सक्नुहुन्छ. इफ दे हेभ एनी प्रोफाइल दे क्यान आस्क यु आउट. र त्यो वेबसाइटहरू चाहिँ टाइम टाइममा चेक गर्नुभयो भने इफ देयर इज एनिथिङ न्यू दे विल डेफिनेटली पोस्ट देयर. Do you prefer Nepal audit firm or outsourcing firm? I think I've already mentioned I prefer Nepal audit firm, and if as a more trainee भएको भयो भने I'll still go for a Nepal audit firm, even though they pay comparatively less. But I believe learning opportunity for a long-term vision is quite high over there. As I have to stay and work in Nepal, is it okay to complete ACC and BBS, or should I need to do? I can also suggest. I think ACC and BBS is more than handy for you. I started with ACC and BBS as well. मसँग ICAN को केही पनि छैन आजको डेटसम्म एफिलिएसन. यस, मैले अडिट डकुमेन्ट साइन गर्न पाउन्न, but there are plenty of scope where I can go and work. So I have not done my ICAN को anything. So I'm an ACCA. I did my BBS. र पछि 7-8 years पछि चाहिँ नेपालमा मास्टर्स डिग्री पनि रिक्वायर्ड भएको हुनाले चाहिँ आई डिड माई एक्जिक्युटिभ एमबिए फ्रम कुसुम. सो आई कम्प्लिटेड 2020मा आई कम्प्लिटेड. सो द्याट्स अलमोस्ट लाइक कति 6-7 years पछि आई कम्प्लिटेड माई एक्जिक्युटिभ एमबिए. सो द्याट्स द मास्टर डिग्री. यस, आई डिड सिएफए बिचमा चार्टर फाइनेन्सियल एनालिस्टको चाहिँ लेभल 1 को कोर्स चाहिँ मैले सकाएको थिएँ, बट अरू चाहिँ आई डिड दोज. फर दोज भ्याकेन्सी we have to send him. Should we send a separate attachment file along with me? For email application, just write a summary email मा त्यो बडीमा लेख्नुस्. अर्को you can submit an application letter as well as CV, or you can make one application letter and CV in one paper and submit as well. Anything is fine. What would be a better internship option for someone who is interested in working for sports, finance, or any other sports related career in long run? Uh, 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 I think it's quite tricky. Currently, honestly, मेरो माइन्डमा त्यस्तो स्पोर्ट्स रिलेटेड कुरा चाहिँ आएको छैन, बट आई थिङ्क दे आर प्लेन्टी अफ फ्रेन्चाइजी द्याट आर अपकमिङ, जस्तै यो आइपिएल जस्तै नेपालमा पनि अस्ति भलिबल लिगको लागि, यो क्रिकेट लिगहरूको लागि भइरहेको छ. सो मेबी दोज काइन्ड अफ अर्गनाइजेसन वुड हेल्प यु, or you can simply approach like your cricket association Nepal or your ENFA-हरु जहाँ तपाईको accounting-हरु छ. I don't think they have that big accounting requirement or use, but definitely if you have a keen interest in sport, then that can help you. Will you get exam leave in audit and see outsourcing? Yes, दिन्छ उनीहरूले basically to it is better if you agree that an interview as well. तर I know every organization does that, even we do it. Also, what might be other side courses along with ACCA one can choose for someone aiming to work for a sports industry? I think I might not be the right person to answer this question because I'm not belonging to sports industry. But अब त्यो स्पोर्ट्स रिलेटेड कुनै त्यस्तै स्किल्सहरू छ भने चाहिँ आई थिङ्क यु क्यान गुगल इट. आम नट स्योर, सो आई रिफ्रेन फ्रम आन्सरिङ दिस. Is there any vacancy in investment banking? Currently, I don't think so because we recently hired 3-4 जना ACCA trainees हामीले hire गर्यौं almost 2-3 weeks ago. So अहिले नै त छैन होला, but you can look into forms. टाइममा चाहिँ आइरहेको हुन्छ vacancy. So you can look into websites of this company and you can be in network with few people from that industry because there are plenty of ACCA working in this segment. So you can approach them on LinkedIn or try to talk to them or हुन्छ नि एउटा rapport build गर्नलाई. Is training provided in audit firm? Yes, they do. They teach you, they train you, they give learning materials for you. So training भनेर सबै कुरा तपाईलाई त्यो spoon feeding चाहिँ हुँदैन. You'll have to learn, develop yourself as well because at the end it's your career that matters. So आफूले पनि त्यो skills or त्यो I forgot the right word, त्यो effort, yes, effort चाहिँ लगाउनु पर्ने हुन्छ. I'm working as an accounting intern in a stockbroker company. No one in my office are CA or ACCA, but my seniors or mentors are good in accounting, and they are teaching me basic accounting like intern posting in Israel. Is it relevant for me? I PR or not? अहिले अलिकति PR requirement change भएको छ, but I think they will have an audit firm. So तपाईको डाइरेक्ट लाइन अफ रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी CACCA नभए पनि द रिक्वायरमेन्ट इज आइफ्याक को मेम्बर छ. सो तपाईको अडिटर कोही हुनुहुन्छ, एक्सटर्नल अडिटर, यु विल डेफिनेटली बी अ आइफ्याक मेम्बर. सो उहाँले भ्यालिडेट गरिदिए पनि पुग्छ. तपाईको आफ्नो मेन्टर प्लस उहाँको भ्यालिडेसनले काम गर्छ. ACCA MS प्याकेज कता सिकाउँछ? ACCA क्वालिफिकेसनमा सोध्नु भएको भए सिकाउने स्पेसिफिकली त्यो छैन, तर एक्जाम पोइन्ट अफ भ्यूको लागि चाहिँ तपाईले सिक्नु नै पर्छ because you will have to work on spreadsheet र word processing package. So that is something you have to do. Beside that, अब MS Office सिकाउने त you will find plenty of institute that does that, if that was a question. So what role do you see in AI playing in future investment banking? The role is quite high because बाहिर त तपाईको अहिले यो machine learning, artificial intelligence ले even यो robo advisors-हरुले तपाईको equity recommendations-हरु उनीहरूले आफैले AI बेस्ड नै हुन लागिसकेको छ. सो त्यो स्किल्सहरु चाहिँ मेबी रिप्लेसेबल हुन्छ होला, तर सर्टेन टेसिड स्किल्सहरु, ह्युमन स्किल्सहरु, नेटवर्किङ, रिलेसन स्किल्सहरु चाहिँ दिज आर इरिप्लेसेबल. सो त्यो स्किल्समा चाहिँ विल हैव टु वर्क अन. तर यो अरु यो AI ले टेक ओभर गर्न सक्ने चाहिँ आई थिंक नेक्स्ट 5 इयर्समा चाहिँ नेपालमा पनि धेरै चाहिँ टेक ओभर हुन्छ. So I'm a ACCA finalist student. Can you open me on your workplace as an intern if possible? Trying my luck here. Not a right way to do it. You can send your CV across to your HR team, and if there is any vacancy, they will definitely reach out. आज भोलि अडिट फर्ममा एसीसी को लागि किन धेरै भ्याकेन्सी खुल्दैन? खुलिरहेको हुन्छ, नखुल्ने हैन, बट अब that is based on their requirement as well as उनीहरुको workload. So देखिरहेको हुन्छ, नदेखिने चाहिँ हैन. I think you might not have reached the right platform, so try to switch other platforms ma. Certain paper requirement छैन भने by an organization any technical knowledge सोधेमा how do we approach interview if we haven't given that paper को exam, or if somehow कुनै technical knowledge नहुँदा how can you approach? I think interview मा केही कुरा आएको छैन भने you can say that you will learn it, हैन, you will try to build it. I am not able to answer भन्ने कुरा र सर्टेन प्रिपरेसन टाइममा चाहिँ सर्टेन कुराहरु चाहिँ आई रेकमेन्ड सिकेर जानुस्, पढेर जानुस्. सो दैट इज धेरै नै हेल्पफुल. कुनै इन्फर्मेसनहरु डेफिनेटली सबैलाई थाहा हुँदैन, दैट यु क्यान गेट एन एक्सक्युज एन्ड लर्न इट, और यु क्यान जस्ट आस्क फर द आन्सर फर देमसेल्फ एज वेल. यसैलाई त सीए फर्ममा डिस्क्रिमिनेट गर्ला नि? गर्दैन. डिस्क्रिमिनेसन भनेको तपाईको क्वालिटीमा डिपेन्ड हुन्छ. भोलि तपाईँले राम्रो काम गर्नु भएन भने जहाँ पनि तपाईँलाई डिस्क्रिमिनेट हुन्छ, तपाईँलाई जहाँ पनि ग्रोथ अपर्च्युनिटिज घट्दै जान्छ। तर इफ यु आर वर्किङ वेल हुन्छ जस्तो चाहिँ लाग्दैन, बिकज म पनि एज एन एसिसी आई वाज नेभर डिस्क्रिमिनेटेड, आई वाज भ्याल्युड वेल इन माई अर्गनाइजेसन जस्तो लाग्छ फर्ममै हुँदा पनि। सो कति कुरा चाहिँ पर्सनल पनि हुन्छ रादर देन क्वालिफिकेसन। सो सफ्ट स्किल्सको कुराहरू चाहिँ तपाईँले पर्सनली पनि बिल्ड गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई। सो आम आई एसिसी फाइनलिस्ट, क्यान यु ओपन मी यो, आई थिङ्क आई हेभ अलरेडी डन इट। गुड इभिनिङ सर, अडिट फर्मको जेनरल कन्ट्राक्चुअल ड्युरेसन कति हुन्छ? एनी 3 इयर्स कम्पल्सरी हो र? जेनरली त्यस्तो कन्ट्राक्चुअल अब्लिगेसन त हुन्न, तर माई रेकमेन्डेसन इज एटलिस्ट 2 वर्ष चाहिँ काम गर्नुहोस्। द्याट्स गुड इनफ टाइम फर यु टु लर्न फ्रम बेसिक टु अलिकति मिड लेभल टु एडभान्स लेभलको कामहरू। तर आई हाभन सिन त्यस्तो कन्ट्राक्चुअल अब्लिगेसन नै चाहिँ मेन्सन भएको चाहिँ मैले देख्दिनँ। एउटै मेसेज कति पठाउनु भएको रहेछ उहाँले। सर, इज इट नेसेसरी टु एट्याच इमेज अफ सर्टिफिकेट्स एन्ड अचिभमेन्ट्स? नट नेसेसरीली। इफ द भ्याकेन्सी आस्क्स यु टु अट्याच इट, डु अट्याच। होइन भने इट्स नट कम्पल्सरी, यु क्यान टेक द फाइल। र इफ द इन्टरभ्युअर वान्ट्स टु रिभ्यू यर फाइल, दे क्यान रिभ्यू एट द टाइम अफ इन्टरभ्यू। होइन भने मेन्सन भएको छैन भने चाहिँ जस्ट सिभी मात्र पठाउनु, सिभी र एप्लिकेसन लेटर इज फाइन। वाट इज द स्कोप अफ रिस्क म्यानेजर इन एसिसिए? Risk manager, ACCA पढेर risk manager, I didn't get the question. So my understanding is risk management, yes, ACCA has a major role to play from operational risk management to financial risk management. So त्यहाँ गएर तपाईले अर्गनाइजेसनको फाइनान्शियल फ्रड्सहरु कहाँ भइरहेको छ, और कस्ट मिस वेस्टेज कहाँ भइरहेको छ, यो सबै कुराहरु हामीले ACCA मा पढ्न सक्छौं। Can you tell more about outsourcing firm? Outsourcing firm, I have a bit of information from to and fro friends plus students that work in outsourcing firm. So basically त्यहाँ हुने भनेको चाहिँ what I've heard, I'm not sure, यो I'm sharing एकदमै मसँग भएको limited information. So I have heard like they have like accounting department, they have tax department, and they have company secretary department. That's my understanding it. Accounting मा you'll have to prepare the annual accounts, quarterly accounts हरु बनाएर you'll have to give it back. So तपाईको डेबिट क्रेडिट गर्ने, ट्रायल बनाउने, फाइनान्शियल स्टेटमेन्ट्सहरु रेडी गर्ने हुन्छ। ट्याक्स डिपार्टमेन्टमा you'll have to file the tax. So जुन कन्ट्रीको आउटसोर्सिङ हो त्यहाँ कन्ट्रीको क्लाइन्ट्सहरुको चाहिँ ट्याक्सहरु तपाईले त्यहाँको जसरी हामीले हाम्रो आईआरडी इनल्यान्ड रेभिन्यू डिपार्टमेन्टमा फाइल गर्छ त्यसरी नै फाइलिङ गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने छ। र कम्पनी सेक्रेटरीको काम चाहिँ अब तपाईको कम्पनीको डकुमेन्ट्सहरु माइन्युट्सहरु त्यो गर्नुपर्ने छ भन्ने चाहिँ हो। तर I have very limited information, so this is what I know है। एसिसी इन्टर्नसिपको लागि दुबई जाँदा राम्रो हुन्छ कि हुँदैन होला? राम्रो नै छ, अब इन्डस्ट्री ठुलो छ, मार्केट ठुलो छ। सो डेफिनेटली यस, म पनि 1 वर्ष चाहिँ दुबईमा थिएँ। सो द मार्केट वाज क्वाइट गुड सबै टर्म्समा। सो इट वाज गुड। हाउ टु गेन नलेज अबाउट एनएफआरएस एन्ड ट्याक्सेसन द्याट मे रिक्वायर्ड फर पिआर? एनएफआरएस इज क्वाइट लाइक आइएफआरएस। सो तपाईँले बुक पाउनुहुन्छ एनएफआरएस को, त्यो बुक किन्न सक्नुहुन्छ मार्केटमा। सो द्याट समथिङ यु क्यान लर्न। तर इट्स मोटामोटी एज गुड एज आइएफआरएस। सो तपाईँलाई एफआरको इन्फर्मेसन छ भने दिस इज समथिङ यु क्यान अलरेडी ह्याभ द्याट नलेज। ट्याक्सेसनको लागि चाहिँ देयर माइट बी सर्टेन ट्रेनिङ्स, त्यो लिन सक्नुहुन्छ। नभए तपाईँको बुक्सहरू छ, ह्यान्डआउट्सहरू मार्केटमा इजिली अभाइलेबल हुन्छ, त्यो ल्याएर पढ्नु भयो नि हुन्छ। हाउ टु नो कुन अडिट फर्ममा धेरै क्लाइन्ट छ र धेरै कुन कुरा सिक्न पाइन्छ? त्यसको लागि चाहिँ नेटवर्क नै हो। तपाईँको कोही साथीहरू, कोही एसिसिएजहरू त्यहाँ काम गर्छ भने चाहिँ तपाईँले अरू कुनै सिनियर्सहरू छ, तपाईँको कलेजको मेन्टर्सहरू, ट्युटर्सहरूसँग रिच आउट गरेर पनि सोध्नुपर्छ होइन, डाइरेक्टली उनीहरूलाई सोध्न त मिलेन। सो यु क्यान फाइन्ड इट फ्रम डिफ्रेन्ट सोर्सेस एज वेल। Which sectors of internship should you go with if you want to see your future growth in analyst or consultancy position? Similar segment, अब इक्विटी एनालिस्ट छ भने इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङमा होला, कन्सल्टिङ छ भने कन्सल्टिङ फर्म्सहरू जस्तै रिनाडा विजहरू छ, दे आर प्लेन्टी अफ कन्सल्टिङ फर्म्स, त्यस्तोमा काम गर्दा हुन्छ। सो इन्डस्ट्री स्पेसिफिक भइहाल्यो। डज मार्क एन्ड एटेम्प्ट्स म्याटर इन प्लेसमेन्ट? नट मच, बट फ्रेसर टाइममा यस, त्यो एउटा जजिङ क्राइटेरिया हुनसक्छ, बट नट मच। वाट मोर म्याटर्स इज योर CV को quality, your interview को quality, and what you can bring into the table. Will you get done in investment banking only through FM? Yes, सकिन्छ। हाम्रोमा पनि हुनुहुन्छ, they have few who have completed FM and doing it, not just FM but अरू पेपर पनि त गर्नु पर्यो। So that's something, but yes, I would say yes to your answer. Sneha has asked, sir, what can be expected salary after becoming ACCA affiliates in Nepal? This ranges from organization to organization. The salary भन्ने कुरा, it's very judgmental in a sense that if I feel like you can add value to my organization, I can pay you double the range. If I feel like you don't add any value or you are not that valuable, I can go for very low. So I won't be very sure, but अहिले I believe 35 to 50K चाहिँ I believe people do offer, तर more अफ तपाईँको एक्सपिरियन्समा डिपेन्ड हुन्छ. इफ यु आर गुड एक्सपिरियन्स देन द नम्बर विल डेफिनेटली गो अप. तर फ्रेसरलाई चाहिँ इट वुड बी बिट लेसर बिकज यु डोन्ट ह्याभ द प्रोफेसनल सेटिङ. सो त्यस्तै पऱ्यो तपाईँलाई 3 वर्ष चाहिँ इन्टर्नसिप नै पनि राखिदिन सक्छ है. कोर फाइनेन्समा इन्ट्रेस्टेड छ भने यस इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङमा जाँदा बेटर इन्भेस्टमेन्ट कम्पनी भन्दा बिकज द स्कोप इज क्वाइट हाई. वाट इज द रेसियो अफ एसिसिए स्टुडेन्ट्स डुइङ सिए कोर्स आफ्टर एसिसिए कम्प्लिसन? I think it's very nominal. I hardly know few people who are doing CA course after ACCA, so I would say that's very nominal. How long should the cover letter be? Not more than 1 pages, but initial days, I think it would be like 60 to 70% of a A4 paper. Is it necessary to have stock market knowledge? Not for all. तर स्टक मार्केटको नलेज भयो भने चाहिँ तपाईँले के भन्छ यो इकोनोमीलाई पनि अलिक बुझ्नलाई हेल्प हुन्छ. प्लस तपाईँलाई एउटा प्यासिभ सोर्स अफ इन्कम पनि बिल्ड गर्नलाई चाहिँ हेल्प भइरहेको हुन्छ. सो आई थिङ्क त्यो पार्टमा चाहिँ इट्स इम्पोर्टेन्ट बट नट कम्पल्सरीली नेसेसरी. जस्ट गिभ मी अ सेकेन्ड ल, मेरो चार्ज इज डेड. जस्ट गिभ मी अ मिनट.
Okay, in between, I want to mention, like, if you haven't joined our group, ACCA Students Nepal, so तपाईँहरूले चाहिँ हाम्रो ACCA Students नेपालको फेसबुक पेज र फेसबुक ग्रुप जोइन गर्न सक्नुहुनेछ. त्यहाँ चाहिँ हामीले तपाईँहरूलाई हेल्प हुने, एसएससी स्टुडेन्टहरूलाई हेल्प हुने स्टडी मेटेरियल्सहरू र कुनै भ्याकेन्सिजहरू अभाइलेबल छ भने भ्याकेन्सिजहरू पनि हामीले पोस्ट गर्ने गर्छौँ. साथसाथ चाहिँ हामीले फ्युचरमा पनि यस्तै खालको इभेन्टहरू कन्डक्ट गर्नेछौँ. सो त्यसको लागि पनि तपाईँले एसएससी स्टुडेन्ट्स नेपालको अफिसियल फेसबुक ग्रुप जोइन गर्न सक्नुहुनेछ. साथसाथै यो इभेन्ट अर्गनाइज गर्नमा हामीलाई सर्टिफाइड कलेज फर अकाउन्टेन्सी सिसिएले हेल्प गरेको छ. साथसाथै एसएससी नेपालले पनि हामीलाई हेल्प गर्नुभएको छ, जसले गर्दा हामीले चाहिँ वाइडर अडियन्स धेरै स्टुडेन्टहरूलाई यो इभेन्टमा ल्याउन सफल भएको छौँ. सो उहाँलाई पनि म स्पेसल थ्याङ्क्स भन्न चाहन्छु यो बिचमा नै. अब चाहिँ सुलभ सरले नै एड्रेस गर्नुहुनेछ.
Okay, thank you. So sorry, the charge went off. So which sector in investment banking you prefer want to have further career in company investment and stock? Investment part money, म्युचुअल फन्ड पोर्टफोलियोतिर इन्भेस्टमेन्ट डिसिसन मेकिङतिर त्यो डे वानमा नै तपाईँलाई डेफिनेटली त्यो पोजिसन अफर हुन्न. बट ग्रेजुअली तपाईँले त्यहाँ पर्फर्म गर्दै गएपछि चाहिँ अपरेसन्सबाट विल ग्रेजुअली सिफ्ट इन्टु द्याट पार्ट. सो त्यो भइहाल्यो. नेपालमा के छ सिचुएसन अहिले चाहिँ डु दे युज एआई? अहिले वी डोन्ट युज एआई मच. प्रब्लम इज वी हेभ टु युज पेड भर्जन र हाम्रो मार्केट त्यस्तो इभल्भ भइसकेको छैन टु युज एआई. सो खासै एआई युज भएको चाहिँ छैन. तर ग्रेजुअली वी आर ट्राइङ टु मुभ टुवर्ड्स एआई अन अ लङ टर्म. विच सेक्टर ग्रोथ र कन्सल्टेन्ट पोजिसन मैले आन्सर गरेँ. वाट क्यान बी एक्सपेक्टेड स्यालेरी रेन्ज? आई थिङ्क आई हेभ एक्सपेक्टेड. ब्याचलर्स मास्टर्समा टिचिङ गरेकोलाई पियरमा काउन्ट हुन्छ कि हुँदैन? टिचिङ एक्सपिरियन्स इज काउन्टेड बट नट फुल, पार्सियली काउन्ट हुन्छ. यु क्यान चेक फर एसिसिए पेपर बट यस काउन्ट चाहिँ हुन्छ एज फार एज आई नो. वाइ अडिट फर्म्स एक्सेप्ट मोर सिए देन एसिसिए? अहिले लेटली चाहिँ 2-3जना अडिट फर्मसँग कुरा गर्दा चाहिँ वाट आई फाउन्ड लाइक त्यो 4-4 महिनाको एक्जामले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो लिभहरू एकदमै महिना 2-3 महिना लिभ बस्ने भएको हुनाले चाहिँ उहाँहरूले चाहिँ त्यति एसिसीलाई फेभर नगरेको भन्ने चाहिँ 2-3जनाले चाहिँ मलाई भन्नुभएको चाहिँ छ. तर त्यस्तो नट फेभर्ड भन्ने चाहिँ होइन. एउटा चाहिँ अब उहाँहरूसँग लोकल नलेज ट्याक्सेसनको नलेज चाहिँ त्यो एजुकेसन कोर्समा नै गरिसक्नु भएको हुनाले चाहिँ त्यो एउटा चाहिँ अलिकति एउटा प्लस पोइन्ट चाहिँ डेफिनेटली छ. तर त्यो नेगेटिभलाई चाहिँ हामीले डेफिनेटली एड्रेस गर्न सक्छौँ. तर त्यसको लागि चाहिँ वी निड टु पुट द्याट एफर्ट भन्ने कुरा हो. विच इज बेटर इन्टरनल एक्सटर्नल अडिट डिपेन्ड्स. अब इफ यु वान्ट टु वर्क इन अर्गनाइजेसनको इन्टरनल पार्ट अफ थिङ्समा प्रोसेस सेटअपहरूमा इन्टरनल अडिट. इफ यु वान्ट जस्ट टु रिभ्यू द फाइनेन्सियल स्टेटमेन्ट एक्सटर्नल अडिट. हाउ मच अफ डिसएडभान्टेज डज वान फेस फर नट स्टडिङ बिबिएस अलङ विथ एसिसी? गुड क्वेसन. नेपालमा चाहिँ यस अलिकति च्यालेन्ज छ. कहिलेकाहीँ कुनै अर्गनाइजेसनको बाइलजमा चाहिँ ब्याचलर्स नै हुनुपर्छ भन्ने पर्मानेन्ट पोजिसनलाई लेखेको छ भने चाहिँ र एसिसिए मेन्सन छैन भने चाहिँ दे वुड आस्क फर बिबिएस सर्टिफिकेट. सो टु बी अन अ सेफर साइड प्लस लर्निङ पोइन्ट अफ भ्यू र डिफिकल्टी त्यति धेरै नभएको हुनाले चाहिँ आई अलवेज रेकमेन्ड टु डु बिबिएस एज वेल. एफआरमा एन्ड ए मात्र दिएर अनि अडिट फर्ममा जान सकिन्छ हजुरले भन्नुभयो. बट वाट अबाउट ट्याक्स? बिकज हामीसँग नेपाल ट्याक्सको नलेज हुँदैन. तर मैले भने के हो सबै कुरा कलेजले बुक्सले पढाउने होइन, सर्टेन कुराहरूमा हामी आफैले पनि पढ्न सक्छौँ, स्टडी गर्न सक्छौँ होइन, र गर्नुपर्छ पनि। इफ यु वान्ट टु वर्क इन नेपाल, नेपालको ट्याक्सको नलेज इज भेरी मच रिक्वायर्ड। सो यु क्यान गो थ्रु बुक्स, यु क्यान गो थ्रु लिङ्क्स होइन, रिसोर्सेस छ अहिले त, यति धेरै भिडियोजहरू छ, भेटेर मजाले पढ्न सकिन्छ। सर, हाउ टु गो फर एनजिओज एन्ड आइएनजिओज? सेम प्रोसेस, दे क्यान कल फर भ्याकेन्सी अर यु क्यान रिच आउट टु सम पर्सन्स द्याट आर देयर। आफ्नो नेटवर्कलाई एक्सर्साइज गर्नु भयो र त्यहाँबाट गर्नुभए पनि हुन्छ। इज स्पोर्ट्स अचिभमेन्ट अफ स्कुल डेज गुड टु इन्क्लुड इन सिभी? यस, इनिसियल डेजमा इट्स भेरी गुड टु इन्क्लुड, बिकज त्यसले पनि तपाईँको सर्टेन लिडरसिप स्किल्सहरू, टिम वर्किङ स्किल्सहरूलाई चाहिँ हाइलाइट गरिदिन्छ। सर, आई हेभ डन वर्क इन अडिट फर्म फर 2 years नाउ, वेयर डु यु रिकमेन्ड फर मी टु वर्क? एसिसिए फाइनलिस्ट, यो इन्ट्रेस्ट भन्छु म, बिकज अब हामीले भन्ने होइन यहाँ गएर काम गर भन्दा नि, अब फाइनेन्समा काम गर्न मन छ, इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ, अकाउन्टिङतिर जान मन छ, अकाउन्ट्स डिपार्टमेन्ट अफ अर्गनाइजेसन। सो तपाईँको क्यारियर एस्पिरेसन्स के हो, कुन सेगमेन्टमा जान मन छ? अब यो 2 वर्षको अडिटमा डेफिनेटली तपाईँले त्यो आइडिया बिल्ड गर्नुभयो होला भन्ने मैले एक्सपेक्ट गरेँ अर बुझेँ। सो आई रेकमेन्ड लाइक हजुरको एस्पिरेसन्स अनुसार चाहिँ सेभ गर्नुहोस् भन्छु म। क्यान वी रियली स्विच इन्डस्ट्री ड्युरिङ इन्टर्नसिप पिरियड एन्ड विल इट काउन्ट? यस, स्विच गर्न मिल्छ, काउन्ट पनि हुन्छ, तर आई डोन्ट रेकमेन्ड फ्रिक्वेन्ट स्विचिङ, बिकज त्यसले तपाईँको सिभीलाई चाहिँ राम्रो बनाउँदैन। 6 महिनामा जब चेन्ज गर्नु भनेको त्यो चाहिँ तपाईँको कमिटमेन्ट, तपाईँको स्टेबिलिटीमा क्वेसन मार्क हो। सो द्याट इज अ बिग रेड फ्ल्याग इन यर सिभी, सो डोन्ट डु द्याट। इज वर्किङ एज इन्टर्न्स इन एएलपी अ गुड चोइस? अप टु पिपुल एन्ड देयर चोइस होइन। गुड र राइट र रङ म कुनै पनि कामलाई ठाउँमा काम गर्नेलाई चाहिँ भन्दिनँ, बट सबै कुरा चाहिँ तपाईँको ग्रोथमा देख्नुहुन्छ भने डेफिनेटली यस। र अर्को कुरा भनेको त्यसले तपाईँलाई लङ टर्ममा भ्यालु एड गर्छ, लङ टर्ममा तपाईँको करियर ट्राजेक्टरी नै त्यो भने डेफिनेटली यस। फर्स्ट लेभल पछि इन्टर्नसिपको लागि बाहिर जाँदा हुन्छ, अप टु यु, बाहिर जाँदा नि हुन्छ। नेपालमा पनि देयर आर प्लेन्टी अफ अपर्च्युनिटी, सो यु क्यान टेक इट एभ्रिवेयर वेयर यु एट। हाउ टु म्यानेज वर्क एन्ड स्टडी ड्युरिङ आर्टिकलसिप? भेरी गुड क्वेसन्स। सो दिस इज समथिङ यु निड टु चेन्ज यर लाइफस्टाइल। सो यु हेभ टु बी मोर एक्टिभ, मोर अजाइल, र तपाईँले एउटा सेड्युलमा बसेर चाहिँ काम गर्नुहुन्छ। बिहान यति बजे उठ्छु, क्लास जान्छु, त्यसपछि क्लासबाट अडिट फर्म जान्छु, फर्ममा गएर काम गर्छु, बेलुका यतिखेर घर आउँछु, यति आवर्स म एटलिस्ट रिभिजन गर्छु, 30 minutes 1 hour। इट्स नट इजी, बिकज बिहानदेखि बेलुकासम्म युल गेट टायर्ड, बट इफ यु वान्ट टु डु इट युल हेभ टु पुट द्याट हार्ड वर्क इन। लाइक डे 1देखि आजसम्म आई थिङ्क 13-14 इयर्समा मेरो सेड्युल यस्तै। आजकल म बिहान क्लास जान्छु, दिनभरि अफिस जान्छु, बेलुका आउँछु, बेलुका आएर नि भोलिलाई प्रिपेयरहरू गर्छु। सो त्यो एउटा लाइफस्टाइलमा चाहिँ यु हेभ टु बिल्ड इन। In audit firm, they send us in inventory count as well. Yes, they do. They're part of audit now, so yes, they do send it. If I'm working in audit firm, what kind of work should I focus on? That will help me in long run career. Stat audit, intern DDA, financial verification. I think it's better you learn everything नै हो, सबै सेक्टरमा काम गर्नु भने राम्रो। अब जेनरली पिपल लुक इन्टु गुड क्वालिटी वर्क्सहरू होइन, डिडिए को पनि काम राम्रै छ, इन्टरनल अडिट राम्रै छ, स्टाट राम्रै छ। सो कुनै स्पेसिफिक करियर एस्पिरेसन छ भने ट्राई टु फोकस मोर अन द्याट। तर मल्टिपल डाइभर्समा काम गर्नुभयो भने चाहिँ त्यसले चाहिँ तपाईँको लर्निङ कर्भलाई अझै बेटर बनाउँछ। एज युआर प्रोफेसनल इन फिल्ड, डु यु थिङ्क नेपाल हेज प्रपर अपर्च्युनिटी, अर डु यु थिङ्क इट इज बेटर टु गो इन्टु फरेन कन्ट्री? आई हेभ भेरी मिक्स फिलिङ। आई फिल लाइक वी क्यान डु समथिङ इन नेपाल एज वेल। नेपालमा पनि अपर्च्युनिटी नभएको चाहिँ होइन, तर यस दे आर प्लेन्टी अफ अदर फ्याक्टर्स द्याट प्लेज अराउन्ड। तर मी एज अ पर्सन डे 1बाट नै आई बिलिभ टु वर्क इन नेपाल। आई वान्टेड टु स्टे हियर एन्ड डु समथिङ, एन्ड आई थिङ्क द्याट्स वाट आइम डुइङ। सो फर मी आई थिङ्क डेफिनेटली यस, हुँदै नभएको चाहिँ होइन, तर कम्पेरिटिभली यस, नेपाल अब इकोनोमी वाइज वेयर स्मलर, द के भन्छ इभल्भमेन्ट वाइज वेयर स्मलर, त्यो हुनाले अलिक पछाडि चाहिँ छौँ, तर द्याट डजन्ट मिन द्याट अपर्च्युनिटी नभएको होइन, छन्। सर, सुड आई गो फर एफएमबिए को आफ्टर आई कम्प्लिट माई एसएससी? इफ आई वान्ट टु, यस, फाइनेन्सियल मोडलिङ भ्यालुएसन कोर्सहरू गरे पनि हुन्छ। सबै सर्टिफिकेसन कोर्स गर्न जरुरी पनि छैन, यो सबै स्किल्सहरू चाहिँ तपाईँले ग्रेजुअली बिल्ड गर्दै जान सक्छ। सर्टिफिकेसन स्किल्सले सुरुमा हो, जस्तै आई डोन्ट हेभ एनी अदर सर्टिफिकेसन स्किल्स, मैले कम्प्लिट कुनै नि गरेको छुइनँ, बट विथ टाइम आई हेभ लर्न इट, एन्ड आई हेभ लाइक भनौँ न युज गर्न सक्छु मैले त्यो सबैहरू। सर, आई एम रनिङ इन 3rd year BBS, वेन I will complete my first level in also ACCA. Also, I have 3 year experience. What should I do in my career in chief financial officer? If you want to be CFO, then अब कुन सेक्टरमा जाने, म्यानुफ्याक्चरिङमा जाने, ब्याङ्किङमा जाने, त्यो सेगमेन्टमा हेरेर चाहिँ त्यहाँ चाहिँ अपर्च्युनिटिजहरू एक्सप्लोर गर्नुहोस् र स्टार्ट वर्किङ द्याट। अब तपाईँको 3 yearsको एक्सपिरियन्स भइसकेपछि यु क्यान गो इन्टु प्रपर जब अपर्च्युनिटी एन्ड वर्क योर सेल्फ फर बिङ अ CFO। स्कोप माइट नट गो बिकज बिस्तारै अपर्च्युनिटिजहरू ग्रो भइरहेकै हुन्छ, बिस्तारै नयाँ नयाँ फर्म्सहरू आइरहेको छ, इन्डस्ट्रिजहरू आएको छ, सो अपर्च्युनिटिज पनि इभल्भ भइरहेको छ होइन। तर यस कम्पिटिसन कट डाउन गर्न चाहनुहुन्छ भने चाहिँ यु क्यान बी अ स्टेप अर्लियर अन कम्प्लिटिङ योर एसिसी एज वेल एज मेम्बरसिप। त्यसले चाहिँ अलिकति तपाईँलाई कम्पिटिसन चाहिँ कट गर्न हेल्प गर्छ। मलाई चाहिँ त्यही थियो, मलाई एज सुन एज पोसिबल एसिसी मेम्बरसिप लिन थियो र मार्केटमा छिटो जानु थियो, सो मैले चाहिँ त्यो रस गरेर छिटो सकाउनेतिर चाहिँ लागेँ। क्यान यु गो अब्रोड विदाउट वर्किङ इन आउटसोर्सिङ फर्म? यस, गइरहेकै छ। Audit firms provide good exposure for knowledge, but I have heard that the work pressure is too much to balance his study. So, I don't think that's much. Yes, तपाईँको यो year end तिर year end भन्दा नि यो फाइनेन्सियल सब्मिट गर्ने टाइममा अलिकति प्रेसर चाहिँ हुन्छ। तर आई हेभ प्लेन्टी अफ स्टुडेन्ट्स, आई माइसेल्फ हेभ वर्क र 14 इयर्समै आई हेभ बिन इन टच विथ पिपल वर्किङ इन अडिट फर्म। त्यस्तो साह्रै प्रेसर चाहिँ हुँदैन। इट्स अल अबाउट म्यानेजिङ नै हो भन्छु होइन, वर्क लाइफ ब्यालेन्स बनाउने हो। त्यस्तो पढ्नै नसकिने चाहिँ होइन, तर त्यही हो, स्टुडेन्टले चाहिँ अब काम गर्न लागेपछि चाहिँ दे मेक वर्क एज एन एक्सक्युज होइन, म बिजी भएँ यो त्यो भयो, बट इट्स अल अबाउट यु म्यानेजिङ भन्छु म, एन्ड द्याट्स वाट यु एज अ प्रोफेसनल सुड लर्न टु डु। सिए फर्ममा सिए आर्टिकल र एसिसी आर्टिकल डिफ्रेन्स गर्छ कि गर्दैन, सेम लेभल एक्सेस दिन्छ कि दिँदैन, केस टु केस। आई अगेन से इट्स अल केस टु केस, नथिङ स्पेसिफिक अन एनी इन्डिभिजुअल। इफ अ पर्सन, इफ अ एसिसी इज वर्किङ भेरी वेल, you will get the exposure. If a ACCA is not working yet, is not will not get the exposure. सो सिए भनेर नि हुन्न, एसिसिए भनेर नि हुन्न, कति कुरा तपाईँको पर्सनल क्वालिफिकेसन्स, पर्सनल क्वालिटी, यो प्रोफेसनल स्किल्समा पनि डिपेन्ड हुन्छ। इज एसिसिए मोर एन्ड मोर भ्यालु देन एमबिए बिकम एक्सेप्ट इन फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी फिचर? आई डु भ्यालु एसिसिए, म आफै पनि भएको हुनाले। सो दे आर टु सेट्स अफ स्किल्स कि यो दुइटा क्वालिफिकेसन हो। एसिसिए आर द एक्सपर्ट इन अकाउन्टिङ नलेज, बट दे डोन्ट ह्याभ द्याट प्रेजेन्टेसन फर द्याट के भन्छ एक्सट्रोभर्ट हुँदैन। वेरएज एमबिएसँग यो अकाउन्टिङ नलेज दे आर भेरी लिमिटेड बिकज दे डोन्ट स्टडी अकाउन्टिङ मच, बट दे आर मोर एक्सट्रोभर्ट एन्ड दे आर मोर प्र्याक्टिकल। उनीहरूले कोर्सको त्यो असाइनमेन्ट्सहरू गर्दा होइन, उनीहरूले धेरै कुराहरू चाहिँ प्र्याक्टिकली गरिसकेको हुन्छ कि, सो त्यहाँ चाहिँ उनीहरू स्ट्यान्ड आउट हुन्छ। एन्ड मेजर प्रब्लम आई सी इन एसिसिआर, दे आर मोर अफ अ ब्याक एन्डमा बसेर खालि त्यो ब्याकग्राउन्ड कामहरू गर्ने चाहिँ एसिसिए धेरै देख्छु। सो मेरो एउटा रेकमेन्डेसन चाहिँ स्टार्ट बिङ मोर अफ एक्सट्रोभर्ट, यो प्रेजेन्टेसन स्किल्सहरू बिल्ड गर्नुहोस्, टकिङ स्किल्सहरू, कम्युनिकेटिङ स्किल्सहरू होइन। अब तपाईँले असाइनमेन्ट नदिए पनि भ्यालुएसन्सहरू त आफैले एउटा कम्पनीको डेटा निकालेर यु क्यान स्टार्ट डुइङ इट। सो दिस थिङ्स डेफिनेटली हेल्प। बिबिएस कतिको नेसेसरी, आई थिङ्क अलरेडी आन्सर्ड, आइ एम नट गोइङ अगेन बिकज वी हेभ प्लेन्टी अफ क्वेसन। सो इन्टरभ्यूमा इङ्ग्लिसमै बोल्नुपर्छ, अनि इङ्ग्लिस फ्लुएन्ट छैन भने लर्न इट। जेनरली यस, इङ्ग्लिस बोल्नुपर्छ, बट नेपाली पनि एक्सेप्ट गर्छ। तर इफ यु आर एबल टु सोकेस बोथ यो कमान्ड अन बोथ ल्याङ्ग्वेज, देन डेफिनेटली त्यसले अलिकति एज चाहिँ एड गर्छ। वाट आर बुक्स अभाइलेबल इन मार्केट फर ट्याक्स इन्फर्मेसन? दे आर प्लेन्टी अफ बुक्स। अहिले त तपाईँको उमेशजीको बुक्सहरू पनि छ, दे आर प्लेन्टी अफ ट्याक्स ह्यान्ड बुक्सहरू छ होइन। सो तपाईँ पुतल सडकतिर कतै गएर बुक स्टोरमा गएर खोज्नुभयो भने युल फाइन्ड प्लेन्टी अफ बुक्स रिगार्डिङ, त्यहाँ डिटेलमै उहाँले सिकाउनु भएको छ। सो यु क्यान गो इट। सिए फर्ममा डिफ्रेन्सिएट मैले आन्सर गरेँ। वाइ पिपल फर्गेट अबाउट इथिक्स इन अडिट फर्म? आइ एम नट स्योर, आई डोन्ट थिङ्क इट्स राइट प्लेटफर्म टु आन्सर यो क्वेसन, सो आइ एम स्किपिङ इट। इज डुइङ इन्टर्नसिप एएलपी मैले आन्सर गरिसकेँ। मेरो आफ्नै पसल छ, अनि बाहिर इन्टर्न गर्नुभन्दा आफ्नो पसलमा बस्दा मिल्छ त? काम त यस्तो हो, तपाईँको आइफ्याक मेम्बरले सर्टिफाई गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने एउटा रिक्वायरमेन्ट छ। सो मेबी त्यसले गर्दा तपाईँको 3 इयर्सको पिआर चाहिँ मिट नहोला। सो त्यो पार्टमा चाहिँ एकचोटि युनिट टु रिथिङ पसलमा बस्दा। सरी, इन नेपाल अडिट फर्म दे सेन्ड अस इन आउट सेसन, बट वी क्यान मिस द क्लासेस, सो इजन्ट इट प्रब्लमेटिक? यस, अलिकति डिफिकल्ट त हुन्छ, तर अब सेल्फ स्टडी पनि गर्नुपर्छ। मैले पनि अलमोस्ट 60-70% अफ क्लास मिस गर्थेँ, इभन टु आई हेभ अटेन्डेड। तर आई डिन्ट हेभ अप्सन, सो आई युज टु सेल्फ स्टडी दोज म्याटर। पछि आएर फ्याकल्टी साथीहरूसँग त्यसको नोट्सहरू माग्ने, सिक्ने गरेर पनि वी क्यान लर्न। सो जहाँ इच्छा त्यहाँ डेफिनेटली उपाय हुन्छ। आई एम इन्ट्रेस्ट इन फाइनेन्स, आई थिङ्क आई एन्सर। वाइ ट्राइङ एन्ड इज इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ? इफ आई डोन्ट हेभ नलेज विल इट एफेक्ट? नो। तर स्टक मार्केटको नलेज नहुँदैमा इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङको इन्टर्नलाई इम्प्याक्ट त गर्दैन, तर छ भने चाहिँ द्याट्स एडिसनल प्लस पोइन्ट भन्छु। विदेशमा एसिसीको एडभान्टेज कस्तो छ? आई थिङ्क म धेरै बाहिर त बसेको छैन, बट टकिङ टु माई फ्रेन्ड्स बाहिर, आई थिङ्क राम्रै रेकग्निसन छ भन्छन्। बट इट डिपेन्ड्स अन कन्ट्री टु कन्ट्री, र अल्टिमेटली सबै कुरा मान्छेमा डिपेन्ड हुन्छ। कोही मान्छे एसिसी मेम्बर हुँदैमा दे माइट नट बी द बेस्ट वर्किङ प्रोफेसनल, दे माइट हेभ अदर च्यालेन्जेस होइन। सो तपाईँको सफ्ट स्किल्स, प्रोफेसनल स्किल्स, यो सबै नै बिल्ड गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई, नट जस्ट ट्रस्टिङ। Why ACC Nepal is not raising voice on increasing exam ACC exam fee and subscription? not raising voice on increasing, झन् बढाउने कि घटाउने? I think not a right platform to answer this, so I refrain myself. So where can I find any free certification skills to add in my CV? Udemy course छ, Courseraहरू छ, त्यहाँ तपाईँको free coursesहरू पनि छ. So you can go through those website and find free courses that meets your requirement. So what type of opportunity we get in government sector after ACCA? गभर्मेन्ट सेक्टरमा पनि यही स्किल्सहरू हो. गभर्मेन्टमा चाहिँ आई थिङ्क धेरै ठाउँमा चाहिँ तपाईँलाई मास्टर्सको चाहिँ क्वालिफिकेसन ब्याचलर्स चाहिँ खोज्छ जस्तो लाग्छ होइन, बिकज प्रोफेसनल क्वालिफिकेसन उनीहरूले त्यसरी त्यो बाइलर्समा एड्रेस गरेको छ जस्तो चाहिँ लाग्दैन. तर अब त्यही यो सबै अकाउन्टिङ साइडमा अब एनिथिङ यु क्यान गो इन्टु एज एन एसिसिए, लाइक वी हेभ प्लेन्टी अफ स्किल्स होइन. अडिट डिपार्टमेन्टमा महालेखातिर पनि सकिन्छ, तपाईँको रेभिन्यू कन्ट्रोल डिपार्टमेन्टहरूतिर छ. सो दे प्लेन्टी वी क्यान, ट्याक्स डिपार्टमेन्टहरू, कस्टम्समा वी क्यान गो इट. सर फर्स्ट 5 पेपर देशी दुबईमा या युके गएर एसिसिए गर्न सकिन्छ? सकिन्छ. वाट आर द सम अफ द टप नेपाल अडिट फर्म्स? टिआर उपाध्याय, एसएआर एसोसिएट्स, एनबिएसएम. अहिले मेरो दे आर प्लेन्टी, जिपी राजबाहक, राम्रो राम्रो फर्म्सहरू छन्, प्लेन्टी छन्. अहिले मैले ठ्याक्क नट डिफ्रेन्सिएटिङ है, यो टप भन्न खोजेँ होइन, बट माइन्डमा ठ्याक्क आएको हुनाले आई जस्ट नेम्ड इट फ्यू. सिएससी होइन, छन्, दे आर प्लेन्टी. वाट स्किल सुड आई सार्पन फर बेटर फ्युचर क्यारियर इन इन्भेस्टमेन्ट ब्याङ्किङ? आई थिङ्क मैले त्यो स्लाइडमा मेन्सन गरिसकेको छु, सो यु क्यान रिफर द्याट. ब्याङ्कतिर इन्टर्न गर्दा कस्तो हुन्छ, पछि बाहिरको ब्याङ्किङ सेक्टरमा जानलाई राम्रै छ. आई थिङ्क रेपुटेड इन्डस्ट्री नै हो ब्याङ्किङमा, सो इफ देयर इज अपर्च्युनिटी डु क्यास इन भन्छु. आई एम करेन्टली प्रिपेरिङ लास्ट पेपर अफ स्किल्स एज पिएम, वान्ट टु जोइन अडिट फर्म बट डिन गेट फर्म, सो अल्सो सजेस्ट वाट टाइप्स अफ फर्म. फर्म भेटिन्छ मेबी, अब अहिले नै नभेट्नु भएको होला, बट ट्राई गर्दै गर्नुहोस्, हेर्दै गर्नुहोस्, भेटिन्छ. Firm with diverse client base better about. So to start with, what higher roles we can go in bank, working in investment, financial analyst person पुगिन्छ CEO समय पुग्नलाई पनि, that's not a big challenge. So there are plenty of people who have reached to that level. So yes, we can. CV बनाउँदा कुन कुन पेपर कम्प्लिट भयो र सबैको पर्सेन्टेज मेन्सन गर्नुपर्छ. गर्दा राम्रो, बिकज यु डोन्ट ह्याभ मच इन्फर्मेसन टु पुट इन, बट गर्नुभयो भने वोन्ट बी ब्याड. सो द्याट वुड बी बेटर. तर त्यो एउटा एउटा पेपर लेख्नु सट्टा नि एउटा बल्कमा गरिदिनु भयो भने चाहिँ इट लुक्स मोर पेपर. सो हाउ यु प्रेजेन्ट भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ हो. ओके, सो आई थिङ्क आई हेभ आन्सर्ड अल द क्वेसन्स द्याट आई हेभ रिसिभड यहाँ म्यासेजमा. सर सिए सर इज सिए नेपाल एन्ड एसिसिए अब्रोड इन अस्ट्रेलिया इक्वल ट्रिटेड इक्वल अपर्च्युनिटिज? आई बिलिभ यस. त्यस्तो फरक हुँदैन. अब पेमेन्टहरू जेनरली सबैले मलाई सोधिरहेको छ, तर मेरो आन्सर अलवेज इट डिपेन्ड्स अन पर्सन टु पर्सन. पर्सन ए एन्ड बी दुइटै सिए भए पनि दे माइट बी गेटिङ डिफ्रेन्ट स्यालेरी. पर्सन ए एन्ड बी दुइटै एसिसिए भए पनि दे माइट बी गेटिङ डिफ्रेन्ट स्यालेरी. सो त्यो तपाईँको स्किल्सहरू, तपाईँको नेगोसिएसन स्किल्स, तपाईँको प्रेजेन्टेसन स्किल्समा पनि डिपेन्ड हुन्छ. मनोज आले, गुड क्वेसन. हाउ टु बी लाइक सुलभ श्रेष्ठ? I would request, don't be me, be yourself. That's what adds value to you. So try to be yourself on a long run. Okay, I think I have answered all questions. So if time permits, I will take 1-2 questions if anyone wants to ask. So unmute garera, else I let Rajiv to conclude the session.
So I want to add one thing. So audit फर्महरूको भ्याकेन्सी चाहिँ खुलिरहेको छैन भन्ने धेरै कुराहरू आयो. अडिट फर्महरूले चाहिँ नर्मली भ्याकेन्सी अफिसियली नखुलाएर चाहिँ उनीहरूलाई हामीले मेल गरिराख्ने आफ्नो सिभी. सो उनीहरूले चाहिँ आफूलाई चाहिएको बेलामा चाहिँ दे विल कन्ट्याक्ट यु भन्ने खालको हुन्छ. सो यु डोन्ट निड टु ह्याभ लाइक अफिसियल अनाउन्समेन्ट अफ सिभी, सरी इन्टर्नसिप फ्रम तपाईँको अडिट फर्मको केसमा. सो अरू तपाईँको आउटसोर्सिङ फर्महरूले त वी क्यान सी इन एसिसिए करियर्सको पेजहरू, त्यस्तै हाम्रो एसिसिए स्टुडेन्ट्स नेपालमा पनि छ, र हाम्रो एसिसिए क्लब नेपालको पनि ग्रुप छ. सो त्यसमा पनि स्टुडेन्टहरूले चाहिँ इन्टर्नसिप मजाले भेट्न सक्नुहुन्छ, र केही क्वेसनहरू छ भने चाहिँ सरलाई सोध्न सक्नुहुन्छ. इफ अरू केही फर्दर क्वेसन्सहरू चाहिँ छैन भने चाहिँ हामी अब यो सेसनको इनतर्फ चाहिँ लाग्छौँ. सो केही क्वेसन छ भने चाहिँ लास्ट एकचोटि चाहिँ हामी सरले लिनुहुन्छ क्वेसन. इफ नट देन हामी चाहिँ यो सेसन कन्क्लुड गर्ने प्रक्रियातर्फ लाग्छौँ. एउटा क्वेसन म आफैले सोध्न खोजेको थिएँ. एउटा चाहिँ तपाईँको इरिलेभेन्ट एक्सपिरियन्स छ भने चाहिँ लाइक साल इन्क्लुड इन सिभी, अर वाट डु यु थिङ्क अबाउट द्याट? लाइक के हुन्छ त्यो?
यस्तो इनिसियल डेजमा राख्दा हुन्छ नै भन्छु, पछि चाहिँ फरक, पछि वन्स यु हेभ गेट द रेलिभेन्ट एक्सपिरियन्स हचाउँदा चाहिँ हुन्छ. तर छ भने यु हेभ वर्कड भन्ने एउटा भनौँ न, त्यो एउटा देखाउनलाई चाहिँ राख्दा हुन्छ इनिसियल डेजमा चाहिँ.
ओके, सो केही क्वेसन्सहरू छ भने चाहिँ हेर्नु होला, नत्र भने I think we can wrap up.
सरी मुटमा छैन अनम्युट चाहिँ एसिसी इन्टर्नको लागि कुनै सिभी फर्मेट आई रेकमेन्ड डाउनलोड गर्नुहोस् होइन, त्यस्तो स्पेसिफिक हार्ड एन्ड फास्ट यही फर्मेट यहीमा काम गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने चाहिँ हुँदैन। डाउनलोड गर्नुहोस् र त्यसलाई आफ्नो हिसाबले कस्टमाइज गर्नुहोस् होइन, ट्राई टु मेक योर सेल्फ सिभी युनिक एन्ड स्ट्यान्ड आउट नै हो। सो मैले यो स्लाइड्स आई थिङ्क आल सेयर विथ राजीव एन्ड राजीव क्यान सेयर अक्रस अल द पार्टिसिपेन्ट्स।
सो हामीसँग यसको चाहिँ रेकर्डिङ पनि अभाइलेबल हुन्छ, सो इफ एनी स्टुडेन्ट निड्स इट सो दे क्यान कन्ट्याक्ट अस।
गर्दा हुन्छ सर, स्किल सकाएर हामीले आर्टिकलसिप गर्दा कस्तो हुन्छ, आई थिङ्क मैले अघि नै स्किल सकाएर गर्दा हुन्छ भनिसकेको छु। सो आन्सर इज डेफिनेटली यस। अगाडि गर्दा पनि नट ब्याड, बट इफ यु वान्ट त्यो वुड बी मच बेटर टाइम, एउटा ठ्याक्क मच्योर्ड टाइम हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ। यस सर, हाउ टु बी लाइक यु सेजल, यु डोन्ट निड टु बी लाइक मी, आफूले
Okay,
ग्रो
sir.
गर्नुहोस्,
I
मेहनत
think
गर्नुहोस्।
you have taken almost all the questions.
ओके
So,
ओके, थ्याङ्क यू राजीव, थ्याङ्क यू
okay,
टिम, आई
sir.
थिङ्क
Thank you for taking your precious time and
थ्याङ्क
giving
यू,
that
इट
to
वाज
us.
गुड टु
So
इन्टरेक्ट।
we are really grateful having you. बिकज किनभने स्टुडेन्टले एकदमै धेरै यो खोजिराखेको कुरा थियो, एकदमै धेरै स्टुडेन्टले चाहिँ कन्सर्न रेज गरिरहेको थियो। सो के कसरी गर्ने के गर्ने भन्ने कुरामा चाहिँ तपाईँबाट चाहिँ हामीले त्यसमा एसिस्टेन्स पायौँ। सो त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हामी ग्रेटफुल छौँ। सो तपाईँको बिजी स्केड्युलबाट पनि टाइम निकालेर हामीलाई टाइम दिनुभएकोमा चाहिँ धन्यवाद भन्छु म एसएससी स्टुडेन्ट्स नेपालको तर्फबाट। र
थ्याङ्क
साथसाथै हामीलाई यो प्रोग्रामलाई यो हाम्रो गुगलको जुन हाम्रो प्रोभाइड गर्नुभएको छ एक्सेस, त्यसको जुम प्रोभाइड गर्नुभएको छ, त्यसको लागि चाहिँ सिसिएलाई र साथसाथै एसएससी नेपालले पनि हाम्रो यो प्रोग्रामलाई प्रमोट गर्नुभएको थियो उहाँको भाइबरमा। साथसाथै अब जहाँ जहाँबाट स्टुडेन्ट जोडिनु भएको छ सबैलाई यो पार्टिसिपेसनको लागि थ्याङ्क यू भन्न चाहन्छु। र अगेन स्पेसल थ्याङ्क्स टु आवर सुलभ सर फर having
यू।
like getting to us, getting in touch with us र चाहिँ हाम्रो इन्भिटेसनलाई एक्सेप्ट गर्नुभएकोमा चाहिँ उहाँलाई फेरि पनि थ्याङ्क यू भन्दै आई थिङ्क वी क्यान कन्क्लुड द इभेन्ट। र अहिलेको लागि चाहिँ गुड नाइट, बाई। सो हामी फेरि पनि सुलभ सरसँग फ्युचरमा कुनै इभेन्टमा भेट हुनेछौँ। थ्याङ्क यू
थ्याङ्क
सर,
यू,
बाई।
थ्याङ्क यू गाइस, इन्जोय, गुड नाइट।